So, and we'll continue, but just checking my my milk, and I must say it has become more like a yogurt. Absolutely. I have 4 liters standing here. Like have this one and that one, and we have a small one over here. So I'm not sure how it's called, inoculate or something like that, with some yogurt. I had made some yogurt in the oven and made it stand there for like a day or something like that, and it had become pretty sour. And so I inoculated, and I put it, besides the heat thing here, like it's not always heated, but anyway. You take the raw milk with all the good bacteria and all that and put it into the fire, like, in regards of how God created it, So in a way, and not messing around with it and destroying all the good bacteria, I don't know how many bacteria that is, because God created things, Seems like things goes wrong when we are putting our hands into things and doing stupid things we shouldn't do. Anyway, both of them, I had one of them locked down, so they didn't, one of them did on here. And see here. Yeah, it's on. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say. Something, at least. It's, at least it's hardened up as yogurt. It's really, I just put, standard milk with, fat in it and all that. And yeah, I guess one more day or maybe a little more. It doesn't really go so quickly as, as the kefir grains. But of course, that depends on how many you have. So we have this as well. That looks. It looks like it has, 2 seconds. Let's open it up. Yeah, it has become more yogurt-like as well. You have something on the top, and yeah, just make it a mix here. But anyway, we should get back to the reading, and but apparently that was what they, in the before we began to destroy our food products, we made yogurt natural. We just let the milk sit and it would turn into yogurt. Very interesting, right? Of course, now we're just totally destroying our food sources on so many levels. Let's see. It doesn't really have the sweet or the sour, enough. I'll let it sit for a day or maybe 2 more and see what happens, Hopefully it doesn't go bad, but it's not sour enough, that's for sure. The thing that I had in the oven, I took a liter of that and drank, and just put another liter of milk in it. So I guess a fair exchange, feeding the fungi, feeding the probiotics, and then taking a liter and then feeding them, and yeah. But that was pretty. The other thing that I had, was pretty good. That was really sour, I guess that's a good amount of it, even after you take a liter out of it. So, and it is in the oven, so it's a little more heated than the others. So yeah. So it seems like I need some kind of, if I'm going to make yogurt in this way, I need something that can actually keep the heat up. Because it seems to be too slow. If I don't know if there's a bigger chance of the milk actually becoming bad if it stands for longer times. That might be the case. I guess the longer it stands, I don't know, but because you're also heating it the other. I don't know. I really don't know. Because if it just takes longer, I could pretty much just fix glasses up, and account for that pretty much. But we want it sour, real sour. So all the sugar is, most of the sugar has been eaten, and and you have a lot of the good bacteria. So, it was good. It was actually pretty good, the things that I made in the oven. It's actually as tasty as the kefir, I think. It's, or at least, in that direction. But still, it doesn't seem to divide the milk, so I'm not sure if it doesn't... maybe it never does divide the milk like the kefir. You can really see on the kefir grains when it begins to, you have the watery thing, and then you have the... Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I just need to let it sit longer or something like that to get that to that point. But the things in the oven are pretty low in pH already. But anyway, the consistency at least seems to be pretty yogurt, It's not milk anymore. It's become more yogurt thing, that's interesting. So it's more solid, So it's on the right direction, I guess. So where did we go to? We read in regards to the pediatrician. What matters is knowing these mycosis. That was in regards to fungal infections. That was the thing that we were actually going by to actually check if I got that right. So we'll go over here and there and push in down. There we go. So I also looked at like the gap thing, and I think it's called SCI or something like that. I'm not sure. No, that doesn't seem right. The gap thing or GAPS, GAPS or something like that. Let's see. I know this guy had something in regards of making yogurt, and of course the difference with this yogurt that we make at home compared to the ones that we find in the stores is that the fermentation is a lot longer, so it becomes much more destructive for whatever is in the gut of baddies, Where is the thing in regards of how to make whey from... that maybe it was called whey actually. It's easy how to make whey from raw milk. I think it's the whey when you begin to be able to see the whey when you have police bans, raw milk. Why is it in regards of making? There was a video where he was making milk, and then also had the name of how to kill Candida spores. I think I've seen that as well. Kefir, best probiotic. Yeah, he has a lot of great videos, this guy. So, attack of the newborn baby goat. Where is that video of his in regards to the milk? Apparently I can't find it. Making canned raw milk? No. That's interesting that I can't find. But anyway, he talks about also having, or maybe I can actually just search. I think GAPS was in the, let's see, let's see. Search. GAPS. Little hard to do when you're holding a mobile phone and all that. The GAPS, diet, heal, colitis and Crohn's disease. So here we go. How to make easy raw 24-hour yogurt, GAPS and SCD. And apparently the GAPS and SCD is, ways of healing your gut. There was like, what's it called? A diet for healing your gut and all that. And I don't know that much about it, but as I understand it, both of them uses this yogurt thing that you want to, you want to make the yogurt really, really sour before actually eating it. Now, of course, that would just have been natural in the past, that people would just have, taking the raw milk from their cow or their goat or lamb or whatever and put it to make yogurt for itself, Anyway. Almost every, that would have been a standard thing that every person would have known, I would think. That would have been natural, Like when people got raw milk still, by the milkman. And then apparently we made stupid and stopped doing that, Anyway, almost every clinical active doctor is confronted with the fungal infection during their working. Oh, we already said that. Okay, mycosis. Oh, that was the mycosis we were going by. Sorry. Going all over, I guess. Did we actually? Mycosis, infection with a disease caused by a fungus. There we go. Origin, New Latin. Yeah, Latin bullshit. You could just, how hard is it to say that what matters is knowing these fungi infections, typical manifestations, diagnostic methods, and therapies in order to treat patients in the best way possible. This article provides a complete insight into the wide field of the teaching of fungus, something like that, mycology, what it was called, the field, that was something like that. Let's see if we can find it that as well it's interesting that it seems I can't find it in the other one here. Okay, mycology, a branch of botany that studies fungi and fungus cause disease. Phytology, yeah, lots of big words where people just don't know a branch of biology dealing with fungi. There we go. A branch of biology, in regards of life and all that, dealing with fungi, fungal life and all that. From New Latin, Mycology. Yeah. So here we have MIC plus Latin. I guess that must be Logia. Allergy, Latin mic, I guess must stand for, fungus, and then logia in regards of, whatever. Anyway, so the field of the study of fungus. Here we have a picture of fungi. Yep, but it's, what was it called? The gills. The gills, and underneath it where all the spores are ready to be released and so forward. So I guess the fungi might actually, this is only the fruit in some sense of the fungi then, I guess. Maybe, if it's not coming from a spore in any case. I'm not entirely sure but it seems like the fungi are in the earth, and then springing forward sometimes in regards of making its fruit. So, yeah. So, there's a lot of study in regards of figuring that out as well. But anyway, general mycology, characteristics of fungi. Fungi are carbon heterotrophic eukaryotes that form their own cell wall. They form a thallus onto or into organic material and reproduce asexually or sexually. There are more than 1 million fungus species, only about 180 of which can be linked to infections in humans or animals. I've heard other numbers. I've heard 2 million, 1.5 million, and actually that we have around 300 that actually link to infections in humans or animals. So I don't know, maybe they're not up to date with it or something like that. But 1.5 seems to be the experiment as far as I could see. But anyway, that's a lot, okay? And only about 180 of which can be linked to infections in humans or animals. Again, as I understand it, that's like 300 that is really bad for us. But anyway, around 300. Any case, whatever, there are some of them that is really, 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 bad for us. Besides that, fungi are used in medicine. Oh, here we go. Now they want to pride them about this. That's the thing. Oh, and then again, you find it so many places. So it's not a secret. The people just don't usually get to know it. But besides that, fungi are used in medicine as antibiotic. Hey, in regards of antibiotic is, let's see if we can, that's actually just open up the lectorio. Interesting. Let's see what they have. I guess it's the same website that I've been on before in regards of antibiotics, types and antibiotic therapy. It actually goes to a whole thing in regards of it, and table of contents, basic of antibiotics therapy, actions of, whatever, okay. So see, antibiotics are an indispensable part of modern medicine. Yeah, because it's treating the symptoms and not the causes, and making people sick and giving them fungus issues. Anyway, many infectious diseases caused by bacteria are fatal without antibiotic treatment. And again, antibiotic, fungus poison. That there couldn't be anything else that they might be able to use of natural means, right? Something that you cannot patent and all that. Well, there is, but of course they don't want to, Anyway, therefore, the empirical use of antibiotics is the basic component of many therapies. However, due to increasing resistance and increase in incidence of long underestimated problematic bacteria, such as Acinetobacter baumannii complex, every medical student and practitioner should know the common antibiotics, their indications and frequent side effects. Oh, the frequent side effects. Oh, really? Do they cause side effects? Oh, yeah, when you kill off the good bacteria in your gut? These maniacs. Pretty much maniacs. Anyway, oregano oil, for example, maybe, colloidal silver, or, many of the other natural things and all that. No, we couldn't use that because we cannot put a patent on it or whatever. Anyway, besides that, fungi are used in medicine as antibiotic producers or vaccines like hepatitis B, surface antigen. I'm not sure in regards to the vaccines thing how that works out. Or vaccines like hepatitis B, surface antigen. I don't know. So apparently they seem to use fungi in vaccines as well, which might be one of the reasons why I don't really want a vaccine, but it's free. Hey, could you just give me some antifungus? Oh, no. Are you insane? Yeah, have a vaccine. No, I really not want a vaccine. I want, some antifungal. Oh, you can't have that. Oh, you are insane. You're totally screwed in your mind if how can you even ask about antifungals, Are you stupid? It's just, these people are insane. Really have to be careful. Anyway, general mycology. Characteristics of fungi. Fungi are carbon heterotrophic eukaryotes that form their own cell wall. They form a thallus onto or into organic material and reproduce asexual or sexual. That's something in regards to fungi is not working like they need nourishment, and they're not getting it from the sun. It's not like plants. So apparently they need to steal it from other organisms like us. So there are more than 1 million fungus species, we actually already read this, haven't we? Only about 180 of which can be linked to infections in humans or animals. Besides that, fungi are used in medicine as antibiotic producers, producing the fungus poison, which, they use. Just take this pill of concentrated fungi poison, it's just incredible. Or vaccines like hepatitis B surface antigen. So I guess we have a fungi there that actually looks like one of these that is also pretty popular, but I can't remember the name in regards of getting people sick and all that. I wonder if all these things are spores, it might be. I saw some video in regards of where they're wavering back and forth and you can see the spores going off and all that. Anyway, so the cell wall fungi form is made out of chichin, and that's said to be the chichin is. Oh, I'm not sure I'm saying this correctly, but probably not. Chichin. Let's see.
Chitin.
Chitin. Oh yeah.
Chitin.
Chitin. Oh no.
Chitin.
Chitin. It sounds like a K. Chitin. So chitin is something that insects is also made in regards to their skeleton and all that. And apparently the fungi also, and it is said to be a great defense against, the immune system and all that. And yeah, anyway. So let's see, Glogan and Manon. The cytoplasmic membrane of fungi possesses the sterile egosterol instead of cholesterol. Just like in humans, these egosterol sites is very suitable for antifungal antibiotics. So this egosterol site is very suitable for antifungal antibiotics. Apparently they call them antibiotics, but that's not really the name. There's two words in English that I think you actually, because antibiotics in regards of against bacteria. Let's see if I can find what it was called. It was called something. In any case, the easy word would of course be fungus poison. Antifungal for antifungal. But it's called, what's it called? It's close to the Danish, I think, in regards of having. But then we have the. I can't. It's written down somewhere on my Facebook. Mycotoxicosis, that's not it, but a mycotoxicosis is a disease caused by a natural toxin produced by a fungus. So, invasive Candida, no. Have a huge amount of, we have phytoplants chemicals, invasive fungal infection, immunosuppressant, just, some of the words that are put down there just to, be able to reread them. Mycology. Here we go. Mycology. No, that's not that, but that's something else here. Mycology. That was what we have here. Mycology. The knowledge of fungus. I've written here. Deep mycosis, deep fungal infection. Have some in regards of feminism, but that's not really the subject. So. Mycotoxicosis again in regards of a link and all that, but still not the thing that I'm systemic candidias. Yeah, a lot of these weird words, that's mycotoxicosis. Apparently I've read that or written that a huge amount of times. Yeah, mycelia, hyphae, filaments, Candida albicans. No. Oh, maybe we have it here. No, that's in regards of the English and Danish. Parasitic fungi. I'll just keep on going, apparently. Food mycology. The second part addresses the fungal spore as a distribution vehicle and the ability of certain spores to survive pasteurization. No, that's what's an image from a book or something like that I found. Yeah, a book in regards to food mycology. No, that's me being a little angry. We have blastospores, is an asexual fungal spore producing by budding. We have, anyway, that's not what I was looking for. Apparently I have a little difficult actually finding it, where we have more in regards of antibiotic, in regards of fungus poison. Oh my, I've written a lot of it. Symptoms on mycotox, Danish. Are we getting closer to the English? Oh my, I've written a huge amount of systemic mycosis and some videos. Endospores, mycocosm. Okay, that was in regards of a game. Actually, I think I found that game in regards to but that was the plant game where you. Oh, here we antimycoticum. That's the Danish thing. So, but seems very in regards to. I think that was something in regards to English as well. But anyway, you have fungicide. That's one of the things that is a clarification. But antimycoticum is what we call it in Danish and German, and I think there was a word as well in English. If we just fix the K with a C, might actually be able to find it in English as well. Mycoticum. Let's try mycoticum. Mycoticum. It doesn't really compute apparently. Anyway, I know there was like two words of these kind, but again, it's just fungus poison. Sorry, wait. It's just it's against fungus. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's against fungus. So antifungal against fungus. Antifungus, of course, antifungal should actually be enough. But as I understand, it's not clarified as an antibiotic, because antibiotic are, the ones that kills all the bacteria. So it's a fungicidal. It kills fungus. So as opposed to plants, fungi do not have. But again, that was another word, I think. But again, I haven't been able to find it. Again, the more I read, I guess, the more I'll get used to these words and figure things out. But if we can just keep it on a low level of 4th grade, that would be awesome. But of course, if you want to understand what they're saying, you need to know some of these advanced words, and it does, anyway. And sometimes you can only remember the advanced words instead of the, So any case, this egosterile site, maybe we should actually just look how you actually say that, right? Egosterile.
Ergosterol.
Ergosterol. So ergosterol. This ergosterol site is very suitable for antifungal, so-called antibiotics, fungicidals. As opposed to plants, fungi do not have photosynthetic capabilities and do not possess chlorophyll. Fungi are heterotrophs, feeding on organic materials instead. They have more chromosomes and can be either haploid or diploid. Which I think there was something in regards of, Anyway, protein biosynthesis takes place on ADS ribosomes through a monocistronic mRNA. Fungi perfecti are fungi that are now in their sexual form. Those only known in their asexual form are called fungi imperfecti, or deuteromycetes. Yeah, let's have some more advanced words, right? And this is what they're called, and they, and people don't understand them. Form, class, coexistence. Is there any wonder that people don't understand what they're talking about? It's like, come on. What is this? Can we speak English or Danish? Is that too? It just reminds me when the Bible was only in Latin, and the people couldn't understand it. And the Roman Catholic Church, which is not Christian, didn't want the people to read it because, of course, it just exposes the whole wicked system. So anyway, fungal diseases, allergies. Mold antigens are the most frequent cause of allergies, followed by grass pollen. Some symptoms of mold allergies are headaches, losses of concentration, and asthmatic complaints. That's interesting. Antigens. Let's see here again. And of course, mold can make cancer in people. Other antigens. Antigen, immunology, any substance as a toxin or enzyme. I wonder if it's also the antigen is actually like a mycotoxin as well, that stimulates an immune response in the body, especially the production of antibodies. I do wonder if this antigen is just a mycotoxin that the fungus releases, and thereby you can get an issue in regards of mold, symptoms of mold allergies, A mycotoxin, if you're reacting on a mycotoxin, of course, that would get symptoms, And of course, it could get allergies, headaches, loss of concentration, and asthmatic complaints, asthmatic complaints. And of course, you can get cancer and all that. It's horrible, these mycotoxins. So I think that actually these antigens might actually be mycotoxins. But they don't write mycotoxins, so I don't know. Let's try antigens. Mycotoxins. Also, when you use that kind of language, it seems you seem to get hits from there. Might get you get more into their world, of their articles because they use all these stupidities all the time. Let's see here. Is there anything in regards of antigens being mycotoxins plus? Those who improved, this is from NCBE, the government thing in regards of PubMed, so that should be it. Those who improved after desensitization to the mold antigens plus additional mycotoxin antigens. There we go, mycotoxin antigens. So myco, fungus, toxin, poison, antigens. Not entirely sure what, but it's I guess something that the body responds to apparently. And 3, those who had their regular mold antigens, additional mycotoxin antigens along with regions that included zone. I'm maybe taking this a little off, out of context here. So, see, mold toxins are also called mycotoxins, have immunosuppressive properties. And that's the thing, if you want your babies to survive, what do? Well, you put out a lot of mycotoxins that help suppress, the immune system, in the place where you want your babies to survive, right? So key elements of the immune system are the spleen, lymph node, bone marrow, and white blood cells. Mold allergies and mold toxicity are 2 separate illnesses. Oh, really? Oh, so there couldn't be any connection. Is that what you're saying? Mycotoxins are known as biotoxins since they are poisonous substances produced by living organisms. That's probably more in regards of exposure to mycotoxins during antigen challenge increases airway inflammation. Okay. Mycotoxins as well as other toxins can deplete the body of glutathione, and I do wonder, I've heard that before in regards of glutathione, but of course if you have a fungus that is, if you have a fungus that just eats all your, all that you're eating and all that, it's just bad. It's a parasite. We don't want it, we want it annihilated if anything, we don't want it to roam in our body. And make havoc to our health. Let's see here. Is an antioxidant in plants, animals, fungi, and some bacteria. Isn't there something in regards to red meat, maybe in regards to this? Red meat. I don't know what is in red meat. I would think, there's a lot of zinc, as I understand it, which is said to be antifungal. But I don't know what actually is in the red meat that, what is actually, because it seems to help. Ultimate glutathione production method, diet based on red meat. For cysteine, B6, and zinc with additional egg yolks. So it seems to be it's the master antioxidant. Yeah, okay. I remember, looking into that. So, yeah, so if the fungi drains you of that, deplete the body of glutathione and add, and let's open another. There's so much to read and so much to try to find out. But I'm absolutely, I feel like I'm understanding more and more in regards of things, but I'm not sure if I'm ever going to get over this, but hope is still there. But sometimes things seems somewhat hopeless, But anyway, I'm not the only one having issues, and that's the thing, and I'm not dead. So I've had this for, nearly 20 years, having it grow in my body, and probably also longer. So, there's people out there that is much more, in a much more worse situation than I am. So, but if we could actually figure things out and, get the information out to the people instead of killing them off, that would be a nice thing, not to actually murder people and misdiagnosing and mistreating them, It's just incredible. It's just a utter criminal system, So fungal diseases, allergies, mold antigens are the most frequent cause of allergies, followed by grass pollen. Some symptoms of mold allergies are headaches, loss of concentration, and asthmatic complaints. That's actually interesting because, there's different people that are sensitive to, to these things. I can't remember how many percent, but there's a pretty good amount of percentage of people that still, would react to things. And, if there's actually mycotoxins in cigarettes because of their treatment of the tobacco before they get out to the user, it's not the tobacco itself. The problem is, as I understand it, the problem with the tobacco is that treatment of the tobacco before it's sent out. So there's mycotoxins in it. Now, of course, if you're reacting on that, and you're also reacting in regards of fungi when you're at home and have issues actually, in regards of breath and all of that. Well, what could the connection be? Well, mold poison, or fungi poison, mycotoxins as they call it. So that seems reasonable. Seems reasonable. I don't know. I'm not sure in regards of dogs and animals and how, some people are allergic to different animals. I'm not sure how that works out. But anyway, intoxications. Human can absorb. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're actually not. Because I remember that maybe they're not actually allergic to the animals. Maybe it's a fungi problem. Maybe the animals have fungi problems. I don't know, and thereby you might think that you are. I don't know. I don't know. Intoxication. Humans can absorb mycotoxins aerogenically or through food. One of the most common toxins is Amanita phalloides, death cap mushroom. It's Amanita. I think that was the red thing in regards to the red mushroom, Amanita. Not sure in regards to the phalloids and all that, but let's see. Humans can absorb mycotoxins aerogenically or through food. I guess aerogenically is in regards of through the air. I guess the first part of the word seems to be in regard. No, apparently not. Cannot apparently find it in. It was nice when I had the medicine. No, let's turn it around here. No. Apparently, it's one of these words that you need a medical. It's very sad because I had a wonderful word book, a dictionary in my old mobile, in my N8, on my old mobile. And it had a wonderful program, and I actually thought that Android would have had a better program, or at least one that was as good. But no, can't have that apparently. So you need to go into all these different programs, and it's just stupid. Anyway, apparently not. I haven't really found any program that I could use in regards to a medical thing. But on the old mobile, I just had one program and it had like 4 or 5 books, in it. So when you search something, I would get, one page with all of them. I think I installed 4 of them or something like that. It was wonderful. It just worked. You just installed one package and you had it in the same application and it just works. And you also had I had the Merriam-Webster medical book, so yeah, it was wonderful. Anyway, humans can absorb mycotoxins aerogenically or through food. One of the most common toxins is one of the most common toxins apparently is Amanita phalloides, dead cap mushroom. I do wonder what that if it's not the red mushroom, I don't know what it is. But let's see. Oh, the itching. The itching keeps on going, and I have no way of stopping it. It's just incredible. Getting annoyed of it. Hopefully, Diflucan will, if I can get it, will help me get this under control. See here, dead cap mushroom. Do we have? Okay. That actually looks like the white mushroom that we have that kills people, but it's probably not that. But any case. So apparently let's go back. So Amanita phalloides, dead cap mushroom. It's Amanita toxin leads to poisoning manifestations like nausea and diarrhea 8 to 22 hours after consumption. Maybe that is the one that kills you. I'm not, no, maybe it's okay. So poisoning manifestations like nausea and diarrhea 8 to 22 hours after consumption. The thing that was so dangerous with the white mushroom or green mushroom in Denmark, I can't remember which one it was, but both of them apparently are people die, eating them. But the problem is that you don't realize it before it's too late. The symptoms only comes after after some hours, and then it's too late. It's already in your system. You cannot get it out, or anyway. You're already poisoned at that point. After a few days, through an inhibition of RNA polymerase 2. That we use words, Latin numbers and all that bullshit. An enzyme that helps create mRNA cell metabolism halts, and the cell will die. Wasn't that, by the way, in regards to these poison fungus? I remember there was a guy that had found something that he was so sure that he had found the antidote for this. So what he did was eat one of these poisonous mushrooms before he kept the lecture. And he would then use the thing that made it work. I can't remember what was that. And apparently, I think it was a doctor or something like that. And to prove that this worked against this against this poison, he would just take this remedy, which I can't remember what was. But it might be a good thing to actually know about it, I can't remember what it was. But he showed, every single time he kept, he would eat this, as I understand it, at the people, showing up, and then he would, still be alive afterwards and so forward. To show that, he had found the solution. I don't know how many actually would do that, but, to prove that point, but... apparently it seemed to work, but again, I can't remember what it was that he took, sadly. But again, some guy that, a doctor, as I understand it, going around fixing lectures on this, probably can find it again if I do a search and use some time on it. But that's the problem. You're always using time on researching things, and there's a huge amount of research to be done. If I could just nail this fungus thing, and get the Candida albicans under control, this fungus infection, that would be just an amazing, release. But then, of course, I have other health issues now in regards of my joints and all that. But I do think I have some ways to maybe fix that as well. So... actually, I think, I also have holes in my teeth, but I think actually that can be fixed as well with the right diet and, and not eating the wrong things, But again, so I have a lot of information here and there, but the thing is to actually get the first, if I could just get the Candida under control and get me straight again in some sense, I think that would be a really, 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 strong point on actually getting back on track. yeah, it's that would be very nice. But anyway, we'll see. Maybe I'll just end in the grave. Maybe the Candida will win. As it does so many times, it seems. Or the fungi kills off people. Anyway, an enzyme that helps create mRNA cell metabolism halts and the cell will die. Another example is Claviceps purpurea. It grows on ears of corn. And this fungus toxin, which is just a mycotoxin, I guess, causes intestinal cramps, circulatory problems, and hallucinations. That's again, you see all these things in regards of these drugs that is that the fungi are using to, for example, control the host, and also parasites, I think, also used it in regards of controlling the host. They would make these things which we see people use to get into this mode of this mode of a trip or whatever they call it hallucinations, but I think it opens up to the demonic world in regards of contact to demons. That's I have my past experiences in regards of Satan's candy shop and all that, where I had contact with demons, and I know demons are around, so it's not really and I guess they're kind of fungus, hiding away, like fungus, any case. Infections. Infectious fungi get their pathogenicity, I guess, in regards of harmfulness. Let's see here if we can copy that and see if we have a word here. Pathogenicity, able to cause disease, yeah. So harmfulness or so infectious fungi gets their pathogenicity from adherence factors, lytic enzymes, mycotoxins, which is fungus poison. So again, it's just harmfulness and from adherence factors, lytic enzymes, mycotoxins. I'm not sure what lytic enzymes is, but anyway, mycotoxins and their invasive abilities, and they have many ways of disguising themselves and hiding them away, and actually getting around our immune system. When these white coat murderers or butchers and ignorant people having been brainwashed, years and years and years in this filthy system, this diabolical system and all that, well, I think they totally miss, the problem of fungi. And only see it as a problem when people are near death. That's just stupid. It's just foolish, It's a problem in people as well. Just look at when women get their issues. It's promoted as like a women issue, but it's not only a women issue. It's also in men. But it's just much more clear that it's in women because you see the symptoms of it pretty in regards of the sexual things. What's it called? I can't remember, the vagina and all that. Anyway. So it's pretty clear that something goes on, while in men, I think it can be much more in the hiding. But they can be resistant to gastric acid and protect themselves from the immune system, as to say, through a slimy capsule in Cryptococcus neoformans or antigenic mimicry in Candida albicans. There we go with the Candida albicans. Now, Candida albicans is the first and foremost Candida that is a problem in this world. So that is, that's most of the issues that is made out there seems to be made of Candida albicans, this beast. And anyway. Pathogenic fungi, harmful fungi even develop defense mechanisms against specific immune cells. C. Neoformans can thus induce suppressor cells and coccidioides or something like that induces tumor necrosis factor release. Tumor necrosis. I guess tumor death factor release. I don't know. The localized death of living cells as from infection or the interruption of blood supply. Well, so something in regards of, fungi and cancer and all that. I had a game where you were actually playing it's a really bad game. I think I still have it in my trash here. Killer Fungus. It was a horrible game, but it did show, they haven't finished the game. They really, they might have finished the game, but they might, they really should have worked more on the game, before they released it, that's for sure. There's so many things that just fails in this, which is just a half job in some sense. But you have the scientist catalog and you see the skills of the fungi, how it has decoys, grapple, morph, shield, stealth, and toxins. So you see the different kinds of tools that the fungi have, to, get out of one of these macrophages or use toxins or, use stealth and whatever. They have a lot of remedies to get around the immune system and to make a lot of havoc. It's just incredible. Let's see here. Now, of course, it would be interesting to figure out which kind of bacteria actually is important in regards of keeping these and keeping the pH low, I would guess. But if you're just drinking milk, raw milk, you would probably get those bacterias, that you got from the birth in your youth by your mother's milk. You would probably get some of the same. Or maybe there's some bacteria that is in the milk of men that is not found in cows. I don't know. One way, of course, would then maybe be to actually take a little sample of milk from a woman, a healthy woman, and make a culture out of it in some sense. I don't know if every probiotic, if they would actually survive and all that, or if some actually takes over or whatever. But maybe would be a way, and then use it to for cow milk, and if the bacteria actually survives it, I don't know. Just an idea anyway. Anyway. Pathogenic fungi even develop defense. Think about it. We come out of our mother and we are fed milk and milk and milk for what? A long time, And there's a lot of goodies, bacteria and so forward that helps us to, get our digestive tract, fixed with bacteria and so forward, with our biome, what is it called, the microbiome. And then these white coat murderers just think it's a really good idea to just stuff you with fungus poison that just destroys these it's just incredible. We like destroying things apparently. It's just and it gets a lot of people into suffering. And of course we give the fault to God, which actually is not God that is doing all these things, it's us. Because we are evil people, we are stupid people, we are devious people. People love money more than good. They work for money instead of truth and what is right. So anyway, infectious fungi get their pathogenicity from adherence factors, lytic enzymes, mycotoxins, and their invasive abilities. They can be resistant to gastric acid and protect themselves from the immune system, as to say, through a slimy capsule in Cryptococcus neoformans or antigenic mimicry in Candida albicans. An antigenic mimicry in okay. Pathogenic fungi even develop defense mechanisms. Harmful fungi even develop defense mechanisms against specific immune cells. C, I guess that C stands for Candida, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Candida Neoformans. I'm not sure if that stands for Candida. Usually when you have the C with a dot and then a name, usually it's Candida, but I'm not sure. So I'm not sure what, So C. Neoformans can thus induce suppressor cells, and coccidioides or induces tumor necrosis factor releases. Okay. Predisposed, how is people going to read this and understand a lot of it? Speak on a level that people can understand. Oh, you're not clever enough to do that, Are you too stupid to speak the language of the people? Apparently they are. But anyway, I don't understand why we see these, we put them on pillows, the society put these people on pillows. And if you can't even speak to people, in their language, why would you put them on pillows? They can't even figure out to speak Danish or English. Anyway, predisposing factors for the mycosis are immunodeficiencies. That's a long word. Immunodeficiencies. Preterm birth, and that's also in regards of losing your child, seemingly also goes back to fungal infections. So when women that actually should actually is the support of the family, that actually should know all these things and all that, because she needs to take care of herself, because she's the one having, babies. And by that, she doesn't not only take care of herself, but also take care of her family and man, her husband and her children and all that. And if she moves out of the kitchen, which they pretty much have done, well, there goes another piece in regards of health. And then they will complain, in regards of losing children and this and that. Well, look at you. You're going out there for a career. Money, money, money. You're going out there for work for some kind of boss instead of working for your family. It's too, it's so bad for working for your husband. Let's just go out and work for some, other man, stranger and all that. And, have no idea in regards of health. And if the woman can't, be healthy, that's, it's a good chance that it just goes down the drain and you get into so many problems. And then the whole family suffer, So it's a big problem. Predisposing factors for the mycosis are immunodeficiencies, preterm birth, malignant tumors. So apparently predisposing, I guess, that's like before, something like that. It's just incredible. Couldn't you just talk English? Predispose makes susceptible.
Predispose.
Makes susceptible, okay, so predisposing factors for mycosis, for fungus infections are immunodeficiencies. Preterm birth is apparently a problem. Malignant tumors, problem. Well, of course, that's fungus related anyway. A lot of it seems to be fungus related. So, cytostatic therapy, corticosteroids, or antibiotics. Oh, really? Diabetes, kidney failure, burns, polytrauma, or the use of catheters. I guess that's but actually, yes, buttermilk was said to actually help on if you have a catheters in regards to keeping the bad bacteria away or the fungi. If you drink that. An artificial respiration can or render a patient more susceptible to mycosis. Fungal infection. I think it was fungal. I think it was fungal infection. Mycosis. Mycosis. Let's see. As mycosis, an inflammation condition caused by fungi. Yeah, mycosis. We have mycostatin. That's just in regards of stopping, an antifungal, an antibiotic, trade name mycostatin and Nystan. Again, they use this antibiotic. It's not killing, bacteria. Anyway, discovered in New York State, derived from soil fungi. Soil fungi, they even got that wrong. It's not a fungi. It's a bacteria. Oh, give me a break. Derived from soil fungi actinomycetes. No, it's a bacteria. It's not as far as I know, it's a bacteria. And of course, that makes sense that a bacteria would make, poison against fungus, which probably would be the enemy. Anyway, it's a fungicide. There we go. Fungicide. There we go. Antimycotic agent. Or antimycotic. They also have it in English. Antimycotic. There we go. So, but not antibiotic or antibiotic drug, it's an antifungal agent, antimycotic agent, or fungicide. That's, I wouldn't call it an antibiotic. Anyway, and in regards of the soil, it's a it's a bacteria, not a fungi. And you got that wrong, Maybe it's because they think about antibiotic and then they think, oh, it must be from a fungi. Oh, well, anyway. So that seems to be a problem. Predisposing factors for mycosis are immunodeficiencies, preterm birth, malignant tumors, cytostatic therapy. I have no idea what that is in regards of these, all these stupid names that no one understands, and then they sound so clever, right? Or some people feel like because they don't understand what the doctor says. He must be very clever. Yeah, he's just speaking a foreign language, Do you think I would be clever if I went over to you and you didn't know English and I began to talk English to you? Do you think I would be, he's very clever. He knows, I can't understand a thing that he says, so he must be clever. Give me a break, I can't understand children either, right? Goo ga 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 goo goo ga. Anyway, actually, it might actually be better to actually listen to children than all this bullshit, So, let's see here. Therapy, corticosteroids, or antibiotics. Well, antibiotics, diabetes, kidney failure, burns, polytrauma, or the use of catheters, or however you say it, and artificial respiration can all render a person more susceptible to mycosis, fungus infection. I think it was anyway. Fungus just give me a break. Just couldn't you just put it down there in English? Are you so incompetent so you can't actually just an infection with a disease caused by a fungus? There we go. Okay, so it is a fungus infection. Mycosis. So fungi classification. Biological taxonomy according to Strasberger. That was in regards to this education in Denmark. That was also something in regards of taxonomy. Now, as I can understand it, science have had different ways of putting them in different categories. So so I'll take that as what do we call it? With a grain of salt, as they call it, I guess. Anyway, biological taxonomy according to Strasberger. Class 1, Mycomycetes. Class 2, Crictridiomycetes or something like that. Class 3, Oomycetes. Actually, that was, some of the words actually is found in regards to the education as well. Class 4, and then we're using, of course, Roman numbers, right? Because we couldn't use English numbers, right? Anyway, Psychomycetes, as to say myco, and EG is also from the Latin, if I remember correctly. Latin bullshit, Class 5, Ascomycetes, as to say Aspergillus. If I ever came to the point where I needed to make a report on Candida Albicans or whatever, let's say I took this course and all that, I would see if I could stay away from all of these bullshit words, I do wonder what they would say to that. Maybe they would give me a bad grade, but what is grades? That's just numbers anyway, right? It's just bullshit numbers. Yeah, anyway. So, let's see here. Ascomycetes, as to say Aspergillus, and class 6, Basidiomycetes, as to say Phylobasidiella. And apparently the last one or something like that, Deuteromycetes, fungi imperfecti, as to say Candida. I guess that must be a dimorphous, in regards of going from the yeast form to a fungi, and going from the fungi to a yeast. As I understand, it could go back both ways. Some cells of the mycelium form, and by the way, in regards, I guess, if you're actually drinking milk in a low pH, the idea is that it actually will lower the pH, which might actually make the fungi actually goes back to its yeast form. Who knows? That seems to be one of the ideas. Destroying some of the colonies that it has created in regards of going and then actually restoring. But I guess, the question, of course, is, are you missing some bacteria that you would usually get from your mother, by the milk of, who was so stupid to give people antibiotics, this poison? There wasn't any other way to fix people? Of course there was. But anyway, some cells of the mycelium form fruiting bodies, the so-called sporangium, in which the development of sexual conidia or spores, there are many names for, it takes place. And that's also in regards to Candida, there's at least 2 different spores. There was like chlamydia spores, and then there's like, the other kind of spores. Anyway, it takes place. If these spores are formed in the tube, the fungi are called an ascomycete. On the other hand, if they are formed in a rack, they are called basidiomycetes. I have no idea. Support for displaying I don't know, but I guess on the line or something like that. There is still no description of the sexual form of many medical relevant fungi, so they belong to fungi imperfecti. Huh. Yeah, okay. Medical taxonomy. The classification of dermatophytes, yeast, fungi, and molds. I want their form. That's interesting. Fungi and molds. Let's see what is a vegetable parasite infection of the skin. Okay. Oh, the vegetable parasite. Okay. Infection of the skin. Okay. How do you say it?
Dermatophyte.
Dermatophyte. Okay. So the classification of dermatophytes, yeast, and fungi and mold is more useful in medicine, although the botanic one is more precise. So we have yeast and we have mold. Yeast is round oval cells, budding cells, here we have the blastospores. I guess we have blastospores, and we have the what was the other name? It sounds like the sickness, the sexual sickness, the STE, or the sexual transmitted disease, what it's called, which I can't remember at the moment. Thinking, 2 seconds, maybe a little more than 2 seconds. Chlamydia spores, that goes, chlamydia spores, So molds is like filamentous cells. I guess, if I can get this Candida under, my brain will probably work a lot better, you know. I remember when it began, you know, when it, you know, took over my head, and before that I could just totally multitask and have no issues with it, and afterwards I had so many issues. And now, of course, the normal thing in regards to what I perceive as normal is probably not normal, but you know, living it with things so long is you know, becomes normal. So it would be interesting to see what, you know, nystatin and diflucan could actually do. I really hope that the diflucan would work and just wipe out every single. But I don't know in regards to the spores, you know, because again, the spores, as we also have read, are really, you know, they can resist a lot of things. So if I just kill the fungi and not the spores, it would be very easy for the candida to come back if I feed it, you know. So I really have to be careful in regards of my food, and you know, and maybe one would need another go. So, you know, so after the first, and you know, they might be laying and waiting for budding in regards of candida, and then have another hit at it at some point. I don't know. That's a question, you know. There's a lot of question marks in regards to how is the best thing to go. Again, but the problem is the cell of the fungus is made of this. So the fungicidal, you know, that the thing that kills the fungi. The question is, will it kill the, you know, the spores as well? And I don't think so. You know, I don't know, but I don't think so. Then of course you have to have a strong immune system to see if it can actually you know, take. But if you have had like candida for like huge amount of years, you could probably have spores all over your body, you know. Like some of the pictures, how many spores, how many babies these fungi are making, you know, it's just incredible. It's just a huge amount. Anyway. So we have pseudomycela formation. We have a mold form, reticular mycela, budding in regards of yeast, and aerial mycela with fructification organs in regards of mold, and yeast is colonial formation. Okay. I'm not in. Okay, so yeast. Okay, yeast and mold filamentous cells hyphen. And yeast, of course, are one single cell, as I understand it, round oval cells, spottings. You know, I've seen images on that. I found some really good images on YouTube when I began to be able to search on these, you know, these words that they use. I found a lot of good things in regards of seeing, you know, yeah. So it's like an area, you know, the medical mafia is pretty much an area for itself. So if you can't speak, if you don't know that language in some sense, or if you don't have, you know, you're not getting, you know, when you're searching and around and all that, you will not get those kinds of information. So when you begin to learn some of these bigger words, or Latin, Greek words and all that, you get access to more information of, you know, of these, yeah. Diagnostic techniques, microscope, fungus, evidence. And I have no idea why no one actually took any samples, you know. Hey, doctor, I have an itch down in my weenie, you know. That drives me nuts, you know. Couldn't you take like a, you know, a little, you know, something from it and look under a microscope? Apparently not. Apparently that's too difficult, you know. That was something I expected when I was in my youth. Oh, the doctor might actually, you know, in regards of, you know, but no, they just looked at it, you know. I guess it's, yeah, whatever. They in the beginning they did give me some fungal, you know, creams, but of course, if the problem is starting at the gut, you know, that those creams, you know, if you're not changing the diet, and if you're not fixing where it's actually burning, well, it didn't work. You know, those creams didn't work, and I expect that they didn't work because it didn't change my, you know, I wasn't told, hey, you know, you need to stop drinking, you know, You need to change your diet and, nope, no. Nothing. And of course, I didn't know much in my youth, in regards to these things. And I still don't know much. Actually, all these things that we should have grown up with in regards of how to keep healthy and all that, pretty much out the window in this society, the food pyramid. Oh, what utter bullshit, You have a little pyramid of meat, I pretty much turned that around, It's the meat that works in regards of, that doesn't make things worse. If I'm doing all the things that is in the bottom of the pyramid, that just makes things worse, So yeah, incredible, What are they teaching us, Just total stupidity. So skin scrapings, hair, and nails often serve as an examination materials. Yeah, skin scrapings. I don't know. Why didn't they took a skin scraping down in my, in the tip of my penis, I don't know. That's where the itch was, And I saw this guy, apparently he had access to the things and all that. And he writes in his video, and he had this, this itchy spot, and he apparently took a sample from there. And he put it on the microscope, and you can see Candida and all that. I think you could both see yeast cells and the fungal form and all that. And I'm like, why didn't any doctor do that to me? If they're totally incompetent. It's like, okay, you would expect them to actually to try to figure out what the issue is, right? But no, apparently not. And you could probably do the scraping without, as I understand it, you just scrape on the surface of something and then you look under the microscope, and it could be interesting to actually have access to a microscope and actually do that. Now, of course, eating meat does absolutely help on my issue now. So, but it still, it would be interesting to still take a sample or try it out and see what one could see actually, and also from the mouth as well, and see if I could find anything that looks like Candida Albicans. Even if I'm doing all these antifungals and all that, would be interesting to see what I could actually see. But I don't have a microscope and all that, and resources are not really that great. So there's a lot of things that, you're trying a lot of things, and it just, everything goes downhill, I guess. Trying to sort things out, trying to figure out what is wrong with you, it takes a lot of time because there's pretty much no help from anyone. You're seen as a nut job, that's just crazy daisy and all that. So there's pretty much no understanding from society at all. You are drained. There's so many things, that. Any case. So again, I shouldn't complain because a lot of other people have it a lot worse than I have. So, some of, people getting killed, people actually getting murdered. That's the right word for it. People, millions of people getting murdered by this system, not actually telling them what the issue actually is. It's fungus. That's just totally missed, anyway. Skin scrapings, hair, and nails. Also, in regards to the hair, I have a lot of dandruff. I don't remember when it began to come around, but that could absolutely be a Candida albicans issue as well, as I understand it. It's like dry dandruff and all that, and I tried something called Nicerol. And Nicerol is an antifungus, thing, and I used it as a shampoo, and it worked in the beginning, but then it stopped working, and I guess either the antifungal was not enough in the shampoo at that point, and that the fungus became resistant to it, which have a way of doing on so many things. So skin scrapings, hair, and nails. I'm not sure. I don't have any problems with my nails as far as I know. Again, visible signs is not that regardless of the things in my, regards of dandruff, in the past, I just, took off the hair. I pretty much just, cleaned all the hair away, and that's the same thing I'm doing now. It does seem to have differences, and but I guess if the Candida begin to grow and all that, it would fit in regards of actually becoming worse over time. I don't know. But anyway, funny enough, the antifungal Nicerol actually worked. The first bottle worked, and I was like, oh, this works. Oh, this is awesome, And then the second bottle started that, and that was where it began to stop working. And then I just, stopped. I had 3 bottles, and the third bottle I just, put aside. But then after, a half a year, something like that, I was thinking, oh, maybe it's just me, So I tried again, and it just didn't want to, it didn't work. It has just stopped working, So again, I guess the fungus had probably just become resistant to it. Skin scrapings, hair, and nails often serve as an examination material. First, they have to be coated with KOH. What is that? It's a long time since I had chemistry, and I was like calcium, no oxide, hydrogen. I don't know. Can't remember. It's a long time since I had. So anyway, or sodium hydroxide to dissolve animal or human cells, while the fungal cells survive. Oh, that's actually. I did have something in regards of another thing they used when they did a sample, and they would dissolve it in something, and apparently they could then see. Maybe this was the microscope guy that talked about that. Unless this microscope guy on the internet, which I guess is one of these high educated guys and all that. But it might actually be him who talked about it. Oh yeah, that was in regards to bacteria, I think. In regards to dissolving bacteria. I'm not sure. No, maybe it was another place. I can't remember. But anyway, first they have to be coated with KOH, or sodium hydroxide to dissolve animal or human cells, while the fungal cell survives. Furthermore, many fungi are difficult to recognize under the microscope in their natural form, so they must be stained. Lactophenol or gram staining are the simplest forms of staining. Also heard something in regards of there was blue metal blue or something like that, and I actually had a whole bottle of that, many years ago, because some said it was killed bacteria and all that. I don't. Oh no, not bacteria, fungus. I'm not sure it actually does that, but I might have been the best thing to actually take. But anyway. Sadly, I don't have it anymore, but I guess one could buy some more in regards to that. But I know, these things that they're talking about in regards to staining things and how to see things, how to see, fungi or bacteria and all that. I would probably, if you take this education on the university, I guess you would probably get those tools to how to do that. Learn how to do that, and that would be pretty powerful, I guess, helpful, to be able to do and maybe that would be great. That would be awesome, and figure out these things. But I don't know if maybe it's also I don't know. I guess it's not a waste of time actually if I did it, because I would be able to help other people as well. So that it wouldn't be totally and misuse. But primarily, I would like to, translate the Bible at some point, because I'm not satisfied with the translations. But you need to learn more Hebrew and Greek and Aramaic and so forward. But anyway, that's pretty much. They take the name of God out of the Bible nearly 7,000 times in most versions of the Bible. It's just disgusting. It's an utter disgrace that people that should translate the Bible actually willingly mistranslate it. That's just that shows it's incredible. And I've tried to talk to these guys in Denmark about it and all that, but no. They just keep to traditions. Anyway, the evidence that's not good. We actually had a Jew that became a Christian. So he was a Jewish Christian, and he translated the whole Bible. I can't remember the date of it, but he put the name of Jehovah in it. Nearly 7,000 times. And he write in his front words that he didn't think that he should defend using the name, and of course he shouldn't, because it's in the translation. So we have another Jew that I think he worked like 30 years on and made his own Bible translation in Hebrew, I think. Well, he didn't really, he he looked at document and all that, and he saw the small variations, or the variations that was from different documents in regards of the name and so forward, and he made his own version as well in Hebrew. And I had a huge amount of material as well in regards of it. But he used the name of Jehovah as well. I don't know if he actually used it in his Hebrew. I guess I haven't seen the Hebrew, but in regards of his material, he actually uses the name Jehovah consequently as the name. So that's another Jew that actually. We have so many sources. That's just two. So anyway, the evidence in tissue sections is made easier to find through differential staining with periodic acid Schiff staining, PAS reaction, or Grocott-Gomori silver staining. Optic brighteners like calgoflower, which binds with glucan, glucan and chitin, or that was a chitin or something like chitin, like a K, right? Chitin on the cell wall are also highly suitable. So I guess they have used some kind of, and I've seen some of these. They have like this dark field or something like that when they're looking at things that also apparently seems to help to get things. I don't know, but apparently different ways of getting things. Here we have cultural fungus evidence in a petri dish, named after one of these, because they like having things named after them, Yeah, like the guy that, pasteurization, Pasteur, and I think that was in regards of Celsius, I think was a name as well, and all that, the rest. Yeah. Most medically relevant fungi do not have a rapid growth phase on the culture medium, but grow relatively slow. As a result, dermatophytes often need several weeks to form a visible culture on a Sapoureuglogous agar or chemic agar. Fungi have a growth advantage over bacteria due to a lower pH level of the medium. Okay. So what is the level of the medium, But I guess the medium is, here we go with the Latin numbers again, the bullshit numbers again, Apparently it's very hard to just use standard, numbers, Anyway, means of differentiation. I don't understand. If you're making a report in this, in this field, will you get a low grade character if you're not going to follow this nutcase? These nut, in case. Maybe I wonder. Do they actually force you to actually use these because it's like a medical language and you need to blah blah blah. Anyway, whatever. Means of differentiation. Apparently, I don't know if they would take you down in your grades. They probably would. I don't know. It wouldn't be a surprise if they did that. Anyway, means of differentiation are also available. Colonies of Candida albicans, C. tropicalis, and C. crucia, or something like that, thus grow on chromagar in different colors, allowing a direct identification on isolation sheets. And isolation, I guess, in regards to isolating a bacteria. So what is what? do they have anything besides just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? We have A, B, D, A, B, D, C, well, A, B, C, D, E, F. Aleph, Bet, Dalet. Okay, that's maybe Aleph, Bet. No, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Vav. Oh, anyway, sorry. Going on. But means of differentiation are also available. Colonies of Candida albicans, C. tropicalis, and C. crucia thus grow on Grome agar in different colors. So how does it actually becomes different colors? It is because if it grows on this medium in the petri dish, does it then become different colors while it grows, or allowing a direct identification on isolation sheets? So you would be able to actually just by the color of what grows, be able to see if it's that would be pretty, that would be pretty cool to be able to, of course you could use a microscope to actually look into, because as far as I can see, they say it's a little difficult to, but if you actually look on the internet and under the microscope, I think you can see pretty good differences between the fungi, at least the Candida species. There's this one that looks a lot like Candida albicans, but besides that, they seems to have variation, so you can, yeah. So the things that I see in my eyes doesn't look like the others that I've seen, but it looks like Candida albicans. Funny enough, it was just a coincidence, right? Like all the other incidents that I have, it's just coincidence. It's just all something I'm making up in my head, apparently. Anyway, biochemical yeast different. Apparently, at least I actually got it in writing by one of the, white coats, that he thought that I was this and that and blah, blah. So I actually got it in writing. That's interesting. And that I was, very, very concerned in regards of my health and very, in regards of, what do if you feel something is wrong in your body, wouldn't you actually, be kind of, apparently not. No, let's just go on, It's incredible, these people are just, that's a normal reaction to try to get something fixed when something breaks, and trying to sort it out, right? No, apparently not. Apparently not. Oh, just, you have a broken foot? Hey, just go on, just walk along, You can still do it, Anyway, so, there was someone on Facebook that gave me a thumbs up, for writing some, I'm kind of negative in regards of these white coat murderers. I don't want, these people are, it's outrageous with these people. And, these, just what do you call it? They have a choice, of getting out of the system. But of course, the money, and the education down the drain, if they actually figure out, they end up losing their license and all that. Let's see here. The 20th century nystatin. I take Diflucan or generic fluconazole. Okay. I'm just trying to get some information from people in this forum, and asking them what they take and what they have of, if they have any issues and all that. But again, at least I found out that I can get nystatin now from Germany, so that's nice. And if the post office won't send it to me, I'll have to take a trip into Germany to get it. So the question, of course, is where can I get Diflucan without what country can I get it? Without a rest. It's just disgusting that our system is not. That you can't even talk to a doctor in regards of white coat, whatever, in regard, that should know, But apparently like eight different kinds of, antifungals is apparently too much to know about, as a white coat doctor, There's too much to know. Eight things that you can take orally in regards of antifungals. That's apparently just too much for a doctor to know about, or know a little deeper in regards of these things. It's just incredible. They know a lot of, in regards of bacteria. Let's kill off bacteria, apparently. Let's make more havoc in the people. Biochemical yeast different. It's just diabolically. Who was so stupid to think about this? Of course, one of these white coat. Anyway, and thinking, oh, it's so smart. Yeah, we can kill off bacteria. Yeah, so let's just nuke the gut with this. I'm not positive in regards to these things, that's for sure. But anyway, it's very interesting. It's like these people are blind, Totally blind, It doesn't matter. It's just on every single level in this world, people are just blind, They just go along to get along with the rest of the demonic world. It's just incredible. So, biochemical yeast differentiation. Biochemical differentiation, along with the measuring of species specific metabolic performances, I guess in regards of eating or something like that, or maybe growing. I'm not entirely sure. I'm still, somewhat having issue with this word metabolic, or for relating to metabolism. Oh yeah, that helped a lot, right? The marked and rapid transformation of a larva into an adult that occur in some animals. So it's not in regards to food or what. The organic processes in a cell or organism that are necessary for life. But I guess food would be in that category as well, wouldn't it? That happens in the body. I don't know. But I guess it apparently is a little more wide, the organic processes in a cell or organism that are necessary for life. Okay, yeah, well. Yeah, that would be like, food, right? Or what? Anyway, metabolic performance, as to say, the utilization of different nitrogen and carbon sources or sugar splitting, is only performed on yeast. Dermatophytes and molds are distinguished through their conidiogenesis. And again, conidia, there's something in regards of beginning. Conidia, not sure what conidia is, but genesis is like beginning. And asexual produced fungal spore formed on a conidiophore or something. Okay, whatever. The beginning of it, I guess. Serologic fungus diagnostic. EIA, immunohemagglutination, that was a long word, or immunodeficient are available as methods to detect the presence of circulating fungus-specific antibodies. However, the evidence of these antibodies is less relevant, since these antibodies can actually be formed with a fungus in a mere colonization and are not always proof of an invasive infection. So, if you pretty much have just had a little candida or whatever at some point or whatever, it can also make us understand that these. So it's not really proof if you have candida or not, as I understand it. But anyway, in immunosuppressed patients, on the other hand, antibodies are often absent, even in the case of a fungus infection. So, okay. Consequently, positive antigen detection does have a relevance in diagnostic. Yeast, for instance, release certain mannans, and the capsule material of Cryptococcus is composed of special glucuronous-isolomannans or something like that. Yeah. Tests on these particular fungus antigens are only positive in advanced fungus infection because macrophages only eliminate small amount of antigens. okay, tests on these particular fungus antigens are only positive in advanced fungus infection because macrophages only eliminate small amounts of antigens. Yeah, not totally sure what, a lot of big words and a lot of, so it goes a little over my head here. Other fungus diagnostic processes, the molecular biologic evidence of specific gene sequence in examination materials through PCR is, again, PCR, I guess it's a short form of something, is increasingly used in diagnostic, particularly in very resistant Candida phylums. And phylums, I guess, must be in, whatever, I don't know. Let's see if it's, no. And PCR, I have no idea what PCR, it's itching. Used in polymerization of DNA to replicate. Yeah, okay. Clinical diagnosis in skin and mucosal infection. Mucosal, okay, infections is also not to be under. So clinical diagnosis in skin and mucosal. Let's see, infections. Let's see here. Relating to mucous membranes. Okay, yeah. Okay, I get it. Okay, let's see. Mucosal, okay. So mucosal infections is also not to be underestimated. Many dermatophytes can thus be identified through their typical manifestation on the skin. Specialized mycology. Dermatophytes. Cutaneous mycosis, also called dermatophytosis, are caused by dermatophytes, which are indispensable parasites. Dermatophytes are keratinophilic filamentous fungi. Infection occurs through contact with infected people or as auto-infection, preferable in warm, damp environment, as to say in the pool. The subdivision is based on the microscopical differentiable on sexual reproductive organ types, macro and microconidea in Tryphophyton, microsporum, and epidermophyton or something like that, Fungus localization, Tryphophyton species, and that was the Latin word for something I can't remember, but it was like species something. But anyway, species, skin, hair, nails. Microsporum species, skin, hair. Epidermophyton, flocosome, skin and nails. The dermatophytes can be transmitted via zoonotic vectors, Tryphophyton species, and tripods, microsporum species, or geophilic through the ground. Oh, that's a geophilic, that's through the ground, okay. So, all three means of transmission relies on close contact to transist the fungi. Symptoms of superficial dermatomycosis include dry, itchy patches of skin where the fungus is present. They are called tinea or ringworm. That's interesting. Why would they call it ringworm if it's nothing to do with a worm? I don't know. The name of the infection is related to the body side where the dermatophyte is located. Tinea capitis in the head, tinea inguinalis in the inguinal region. I have no idea what that is. And tinea corporis is in the stem body. In 80% of the cases, it is about a T. rubrum infection. In 15% about a T. interdigital infection. Rarer pathogens are M. canis and T. mentagrophytes. An allergic tissue reaction is apparent among mycodes in dermatophytes infection. It's so many words that I'm like, whatever. Like, how is anyone going to, be able to, yeah, it's just incredible. Tinea pedis. Tinea pedis instead of just calling it fungus, right? Oh, we'll just give it a name, Anyway, Tinea pedis, colloquially called foot fungus. Oh, it's called foot fungus. Wow, why couldn't we just call it foot fungus? It's the most common dermatomycosis in industrialized nations. And the question is, if you have fungus on the foot, might there actually be, might it actually only be surface, or is it actually, I don't know. Anyway, during the course of their lives, up to 75% of the population develop symptoms of itchiness in the space between toes. Simultaneously, a toenail infection called onychomycosis can also often found. Okay, yeah. Itchiness, I know, itchiness. Again, how I don't understand how they can be so incompetent, itchy, and then, let me try some Diflucan. No, you can't try Diflucan. You need to get on some psychotropic drugs, because you're utterly insane of asking for Diflucan, because, it's not something that is given for women when they have fungus infection. Anyway, I shouldn't go, but I'll end up getting in a bad, I'm actually already am, because, it would have been nice to just go on, to try things out and just go on and see if it would work or not, instead of making more obstacles for me to actually get this sorted. And, not only do they not help these white coat murderers, they're also standing in the door as doormen and gatekeepers for not actually getting what you want. They can't themselves figure out what it is and just give up, apparently. And then when they don't want to give you, in regards to trying something out, It's incredible. So, and just think you are making things up. Anyway, Tinea favosa, that seems to be again we have Latin, right? Favus, Latin for honeycomb. It's the dermatomycosis caused by Triphyton schoenlini. Patients have the dermatotyphoid in their hair. A clinical characteristic is hair infection with yellow-brownish disquamation. These scales, also called scutula, are pathognomonic for this disease and consist of the mycelium, including hair follicles. Healing takes place through a scarring alopecia. Give me a break. Give me a break with these words, Okay, loss of hair. Oh, you couldn't say loss of hair. You had to say alopecia. Alopecia. Give me a break. Loss of hair, especially on the head, or loss of wool or feathers in humans, it can result from heredity or hormonal imbalance of certain diseases or drugs and treatments, chemotherapy for cancer and all that. Anyway, so you couldn't just say loss of hair. No. You needed to use one of these probably Latin words, alopecia. Oh, give me a break. The scarring of loss of hair. So these scales, also called scutula, are pathognomonic also, for this disease, and consist of the mycelium, including hair. I'm not sure what this is either. Any small spherical groups of cell containing of cavity. I'm not sure. Anyway, we can't zoom, but this is the fungus. So maybe put some oregano oil on that or something like that. Yeah, who knows? Tinea capitis, Microsporum audounini, and Trifophyton tonsurans are the typical pathogens of the head mycosis. So that would, a head, fungus infection in the head. Particular in kids, these fungi are highly contagious and mainly infect hair. These are fully covered with spores and break off at a height of about 7 millimeters. Mucosa is not infected. I'm not sure what mucosis is, but anyway, again, another word that probably could... mucus secreting membrane lining all body cavities or passages that communicate with the exterior. Okay. That would be pretty visible if you had this issue, So, therapy for dermatomycosis. For the local therapy, topical imidazole anti-mycotics. Oh, we have some anti-mycotics now. In the form of lotions or nail polish. Oh, there we go. Anti-mycotics polish. Patients are also encouraged to keep the affected area dry. Treatment lasts about 4 to 6 weeks. In some cases, a systemic therapy with azolone, I guess in regards of azolone, that might be all of the azoles, the diflucan in regards of, what is it called? Fluconazole and itraconazole or something like that, have all the sols and all that. Or glycerolfulvin can be used as a supplement. Can you actually I've heard this glycerolfulvin, but I haven't really gotten the idea what it actually does and what it can you actually take that orally? I wonder. Can't remember what paste and go. It's an antifungal, yeah, we know that. But can it be taken orally? Fungus is used to treat infection such as ringworm, a really bad word for that sickness, athlete foot, yockage, and fungal infection of the scalp, fingernails or toenails. Glycerolfulvin may be used for purposes not listed. Yeah, okay, but can you take it? Is it an outside thing or is it an inside? Can you actually... is there... but how do you use it, How do you take it? Oh, no more. At drugs.com, I think that website has all the side effects of different things and all that. That is used to... Yeah. Taking glycerolfulvin during the first 3 months of side effects, dosage. Yeah, see here dosage. You can to see how they take it. Here we go. Okay, so they take it internally, I guess, by mouth. Okay, microcrystalline. Okay, yeah, okay. Usual adult dose for, and now we have all these different names instead of just calling it fungi. Fungi here, fungi there. No. We'll just call it a weird Latin name, which people cannot. It's the same thing with the gut issues, where it was like itis meant inflammation, and so you have all these gut issues, which is itis, which is just gut inflammation. But they, fix up these names that, so the people don't understand a thing what they're saying, So therapy for dermatomycosis, for local therapy, topical imidazole, anti-mycotics, in the form of lotions or nail polish. Patients are also encouraged to keep the affected area dry, because, fungus loves moist, and I think that's, one of the things that, it seems like the weather have an effect on the species that I have in my body as well. So, good days would be days where the sun is, it doesn't seem moist and all that. And anyway, but usually in Denmark, it's pretty, I guess it's in Denmark, we pretty much have weather for fungi, you know. So, because it's bad. Treatment lasts about 4 to 6 weeks. In some cases, systemic therapy of azolan or grisofulvan can be used as a supplement. The systemic has a longer duration than topical therapy because it takes time for antifungals to reach the keratinic layer of the skin. Okay. The systemic has a longer duration, but it probably is destroying a lot of fungus as well inside the body if you're taking it internally and not, putting it on. Well, anyway, now here we go with a picture of Candida albicans. Dermatomycosis prophylaxis. Nail and skin care is very important, especially in people with underlying immunosuppressive diseases like diabetes mellitus. And again, in regards of diabetes, in regards of destroying the beta cells and all that, seems to be a fungi issue as well. I can't remember that's diabetes 1 and 2, and apparently they are making up at diabetes 3 or something like that. Because there's money in sick people. Just give them a thing, and then you can, it's just incredible. Diabetes caused by relative or absolute deficiency of insulin and characterized by polyuria. Severe diabetes mellitus with an early onset. Think about it. If you actually use antibiotics and destroy the gut flora and the fungus begins to run wild, could it actually make some issues? Maybe for the body. I don't know. In any case, it's actually 6 o'clock. So actually, I should actually, instead of going to bed, I should actually go out and swim. When did I wake? I think I woke 11 o'clock or something like that. Really bad, But I should actually, go have a swim and get some meat as well. So I have some food afterwards and make me some good some food. For these patients who have warm, damp room like saunas and check their skin for evidence. Okay, so see, dermatomycosis prophylaxis. Nail and skin care is very important, especially in people with underlying immunosuppressive diseases like diabetes mellitus. Care should be taken for these patients to avoid warm, damp room like saunas and check their skin for evidence of infection. Wow. Yeah, fungus loves, warm places and damp rooms and so forward. So I do wonder in regards of drinking of the, maybe there's too much sugar in this. I don't know. Anyway, would be nice to have some meat because meat tends to help on that issue down there. So I don't know why, but it does. It's just red meat, wonderful, just like medicine. It's like a wonderful medicine. Let thy food be thy medicine, right? But of course, the world have a way of destroying all the good food. And but anyway, let's not get off topic again. So yeast multiply through budding. This means that a bud grows from a mother cell through evagination. Oh yeah, let's have another word of these, right? Evagination. The act of turning inside out, the outgrowth of some part of or organ from its normal position. Evagination. I guess it's Latin as well or something like that. I don't know. With an ingrown copy of the cell's nucleus, the so-formed daughter cell eventually becomes independent. There's videos on that on YouTube where you can see yeast cell, doing that. So here you go with yeast cells. That's the yeast cells over at the right here. The cluster. Then you have blast spores, which, as I understand, is actually, the spores. Yeah, pretty much. Then you have chlamydiospores. And again, I don't know what the difference is in regards to the chlamydiospores and the blast spores. I guess they would be both be babies, right? So I'm not entirely sure how that works out. I don't know if it's only if it releases the blast spores or if it can release the chlamydospores or what, or if it's going to die, that the chlamydospores is just there as a seed to, to seed itself again after, Anyway, you have the pseudo-hypha as well. I can't remember how it's like a hypha and a pseudo-hypha. I'm still trying to figure out how they get things together and understanding and all that. But that's pretty much what I see in my eyes. Pretty much down here, it's this, all these strings and all that. That's pretty much what I, and dots and, round dots here and there in my eyes. That's pretty much what it looks very much like Candida albicans. And, taking all the things together, I think that is exactly what I have. So, it's funny, when I did oregano, which I just saw a video, wonderful video from this company that makes a amazingly good oregano oil. Very, very powerful oregano oil. I think I had 2 bottles over my, maybe more, but it's at least 2 bottles, I think, because I think it really goes a long way. This little bottle can go a long, long way. And I remember one of the times I took this oregano and made capsule, and I took that, and it just felt like I was released for a time. It was just wonderful, but sadly it didn't continue to work. I don't know if I needed to take more or if the fungi had. But first time I took it, I just felt released. It was that was very, very nice. Anyway. So, but that was this video actually being a natural antibiotic in regards of, they said that it could actually, but of course it's also antifungal. And what was it called? Best Oregano Oil by Saina Hillas or something like that. Now, of course, I don't know if I can actually get that oil anymore because Amazon seems to just close every single door out there in regards of ordering things from the outside. So again, you can really see doors closing. You're not allowed to get raw milk. They try to make that difficult for you. Really difficult. Difficult actually. Making it difficult for you to actually get information on natural products as well. Closing down, one of the Danish websites that actually produce a lot of these natural things, are totally censored. You just censored here, censored there, censored. If I want the information, why am I not allowed to get it? That seems criminal. If I want the information, if I'm seeking the information, why do these people need to censor their website? It's just insane. Anyway, it's just incredible. It's just and of course, closing the doors of getting it's just it's a jail. It just feels like a jail pretty much. This society is just it's bullshit system. That's what it is. Down the drain. Candida albicans, corruption everywhere in this society, and pretty much satanic bullshit as well, Candida albicans illnesses. Here we go with the Candida. That's a nice thing. I guess it's not nice, but that's the thing that we would like to know more about, of course, or I want. Candida albicans, which apparently Candida, both Candida and albicans, which means white, so it's like a double white. That was something else in regards to the Romans, in regards to Candida or something like that, and albicans meaning white, and Candida in regards of, so I can't remember what it was, but that was something in regards of them standing in white as well. So it's like whatever. So Candida species is a dimorpheous, that means that it can change from a yeast form into a fungus. So dimorpheous fungus that can form a pseudomycelia, that is those strings that, they are part of the saprophytic humoral local flora. But again, I don't know if everybody actually have them, but I don't know. Thus, Candida strains are detectable. I do wonder actually, Actually, that's interesting. Actually, what if the yeast form doesn't have, yeah, I really wonder, if the nystatin and the diflucan attacks the candida by destroying, attaching to this thing in its cell wall, is that actually in the yeast cell as well, or is it only in regards of the issue? Because I don't know. I have a lot of questions here. That's for sure. There's a lot of question marks. Because in its yeast form, it's different than in its fungus form. It's both fungus, but but it's different. The yeast form is just a one cell, yeast. But does it actually have this thing that the antifungal attaches to? Because then it wouldn't destroy it wouldn't actually destroy the fungi. It would just destroy those things that are bad. I don't know. I don't know how that works. How that would work if and I don't know where the yeast form would actually, in regards to the body and all of that. Would it actually be able to survive in its yeast form in the body, regards, yeah, or would it need to be in its fungus, at that point? The single, could the white blood cells actually attack the yeast if it's actually outside, the environment of the gut? Is it small enough? So yeah, I think actually it might be, I think the white blood cell is bigger than these yeast, but I'm not entirely sure. So it should actually be able to attack it if it goes into the yeast form and is outside the gut. But as long as it stays in the gut, I do wonder. Does it has this thing that it attaches to? I can't remember what was it called. Can't even remember what it was called. Thinking. Let's see if I can think about it. Get it forward here. Chichen. No. It's not chichen. That's the wall. But anyway, that was in regards of whatever. I can't remember what it's called, but the thing is, does the yeast form actually have that? Because if the yeast form doesn't have it, it will not kill the good guys, or the or in its good form, or it's what do you call it? In the form that it doesn't totally go haywire. Anyway, but of course that would mean that it would probably be able to come back again pretty quickly. If you cannot kill it off totally, if you don't change your diet and the environment in the gut. So it's just incredible. It seems hopeless sometimes, because you have to have everything into order to fix this, right? And there's factors, and there's a lot of obstacles. Yeah, it's just anyway. So Candida species is a dimorphous fungus that can form a cytomycelia. They are part of the saprophytic human local flora. Thus, Candida strains are detectable in test materials from oropharynx 30% and the feces 65%. Candida species are possible pathogens in certain conditions. Yeah. Well, when you actually, nuke the gut with antibiotic, Human local, part of the sapro, I have no idea what that is part of. Let's see here. Oh, that's bad. It's morning and I'm getting tired. When I actually should, Pertaining to or the nature of saprophytes growing or decaying. Okay, I guess it eats the decaying thing. So, as I understand it, it has a function in the body. But again, if the antifungals doesn't attack the yeast form and only the fungal form of the Candida albicans, you would never really get rid of it. It would just put it in the place where it should be. So that would be an interesting question as well, for the expert on these things. Thus, Candida strains are detectable in test materials from the oropharynx, 30%, and the feces, 65%. Candida species are possible pathogens and harmful in certain conditions. Yeah, so that's interesting. That what is it called? The thing that it attaches to. Did we have it? Oh, we actually have read of a lot of. There was something in regards of attaches to. I think we read it someplace. Oh well, I'll we'll get into reading it again, I guess, at some point. But yeah, it was called something. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, anyway, favoring factors of yeast colonization are reduction of. Did we skip something? No. Colonization are reduction of physiological bacteria flora. So reduction of physiological bacteria flora, I guess, in regards to the gut or something like that. Of relating to biological study of physiology of consisting with an organism's normal functioning. Let's try this one. Processes and functions of organism. Anyway, reduction of physiological bacteria flora on skin and mucosa due to antibiotics. Yeah, and probably going wild in your body as well, infecting, vagina as well, right? The pH level increases in the vagina or estrogen excess due to hormonal contraceptives or pregnancy. And seems to be an issue in regards of the hormonal, thing in regards to the monthly thing and all that that women goes through. They are more what do you call it, disposed to getting a fungal infection, and was like in the period or after the period or something. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. So I guess we also see here that the pH level increase in the vagina actually makes the, can make the candida go wild. So, people that says that, oh, we need to get a higher pH, but if the candida actually don't have a problem with the higher pH, that's of course an issue. While it actually goes into its yeast form, when it and that's in regards to the itching as well. In regards to the itching, I think it's these hyphae or that crawls. Why would it itch down there in a woman? Well, if it goes into its fungal form, well, if a woman have it and it doesn't have any problems and doesn't but if it goes into its fungal form and wouldn't that be wouldn't that make an itch? If you have these fungal threads beginning to grow, I think that could make an itch. That makes sense to me, because apparently, reading, about it, apparently they didn't know what makes the itch. Well, I think it's pretty logical or sensible that these threads that is now growing in, wherever is making the itch. That makes total sense to me. Skin barrier damage due to burns. Okay. Immunosuppression, as to say in AIDS, radiotherapy or cytostatic therapy, I guess that's like cancer, whatever. Cancer therapy, I guess, was like I'm not sure, I'm not entirely sure, but my radiotherapy, let's just have I would think that would be something in regards of so-called cancer. But anyway. So where it is damp, warm, and dark, yeah, because that's what fungus loves. Warm, darkness, and dampness. Like in the spaces between toes or under the breast, for example, seems to be an issue as well for some women. Having the property of containing fat, yeah, I guess in regards of. So under the breast in skin folds, inflammatory Flush lesions arise and can macerate and tear, forming regates. Interesting, regates. Cracks or fissures, okay. They are called intertrigo. Candida infections can form in these areas. Now, I think my Candida seems to be undercover and on a lot of levels, but, I feel it, I just, but there's not that many symptoms. I know if I begin drinking alcohol, I could probably, if I actually began to eat all the things that I know it reacts on, well, I could probably, get a lot quicker in the ground, So I don't want to do that. But I remember still drinking alcohol, and I got this rash on my face. And at that point, I had access to one of these specialist skin doctors and all that. And I called, hey, I have and they didn't want to see me. There was no time for seeing me. Apparently, it's like, hey, now I have something, you can look at, So anyway, but no, they didn't have time for me to, whatever. Just stupid, it's just insane, And I guess that must probably have come around from drinking a lot of alcohol at that point. And whatever it was, I was like, spots all over. I had like spots all over my face. Well, I guess it's not called spots. It's a little outside. You can feel them. It's like. Anyway, a vulvovaginal candidosis can arise in women as in regards of issues in the vagina, especially if they are taking hormonal contraceptives. Yeah, and of course you wouldn't take those, right? Because that's, you wouldn't have sex outside marriage, right? Because that's whoring, right? Anyway, are doing pregnancy. So they're taking hormonal contraceptives or doing pregnancy. Typical symptoms are itching and burning. Yeah, itching and burning. I can ascribe to those kinds of feelings, and being tender and burning, being feeling hot, pain. Anyway. Along with whitish flower vaginalis, and that's the thing, in regards to women, it's so much easier to spot it in women than in men. In men, it's called balanitis, and in regards to balanitis, I'm thinking that must be the thing that I had or have, which is not that visible apparently, but the itch was absolutely there. So anyway, but of course, if it didn't get treated, if you don't get the fungus treated, well, it's going to continue to. So, yeah. So in men, it's called balanitis. Balanitis. Apparently, it's just hard to say, a fungal infection, That's apparently really hard to just say, it's a fungal infection. Anyway, in babies, hematologic patients, and after antibiosis, that sounds like antibiosis. I wonder, an association between organisms that is harmful to one of them, or between organisms and the metabolic product of another. I'm not entirely. Is that like? Is it in regards to destroying the balance of the, I don't know. A whitish layer can be formed on the oral mucosa. Typical presentation of oral thrush is a white fluffy layer that can be wiped away. So, yeah. So anyway, it's like, oh yeah, it's just all in your head. It's all in your head. Yeah, these bullshitters. Wasting a huge amount of my life on this. Anyway. Yeah, that was something. Yeah, anyway. Invasive or systemic Candida mycosis can lead to direct or hematogenous sepsis. No idea. There's a lot of, big words again. Just Don't read it don't write it in English apparently. The presence of pus-forming bacteria or the toxins in a blood or tissue, not sure what. So what about Hematogenius or whatever? Let's try that one. No, that's found. Typical consequences are micro abscesses in liver, kidneys, and lungs. However, uveitis, meningitis, arthritis, and pericarditis are also a possibility. I don't know in regards of arthritis, but I do have in regards of my joints. I have issues with my joints, but that was after I broke my knuckle. Inflammation of joints, so I'm not entirely sure if that, because it came after I broke my knuckle, I began to have, the same things in my, and, so my joints is not good. Anyway, whatever. So I don't think it would have started if I didn't have broken the knuckle. But anyway. Oh, my nose is blocked. So evidence of Candida, here we see the white, the white Candida albicans. Evidence of the Candida genus, I do wonder in regards of genus, a general kind of something, apparently.
Genus.
Yeah, you couldn't say it in Danish, right, or English. Taxonomic group containing one or more species, yeah, okay. We couldn't use in regards of other word that actually, no, okay. Anyway. Evidence of the Candida genus can mostly already be found microscopically in the native preparation or after gram staining. A good representation can also succeed after Gomori impregnation with silver salt or after treatment with optic brighteners like calco flour. Typical cream-colored porcelain-like colonies develop in culture. Yeah, there we go. That's the beast. Evidence of Candida in skin swabs, sputum, urine, and solid faces is not proof of an infection, but only the expression of a colonization. What matters is quantity. If detection via breeding and microscopy is not successfully, microscopy, I guess that is the petri dish thing or whatever, the microscopy. Yeah, the research. Oh no, it's actually in regards to microscope. Okay, microscope. Yeah, I was thinking of something else. Okay, so if detection via breeding and microscopy is not successful, fungus antigen evidence can be useful. The sensitivity of these antigen tests and of anticorp tests lies at only 20 to 80%, and its specificity is unknown. Yeah, let's just try Diflucan and see what happens, okay? Instead of, wasting my time. Anyway. Candidiasis therapy, It's just incredible that they would stand there as, instead of actually talking to you as a, and, working with you, just, oh yeah, you just need to go to the shrink, it's just incredible. It's just... it's outrageous. It's utter outrageous, It's anyway. Candidiasis therapy. Treatment of candidiasis is conducted through a topical application, fluconazole or topical imidazole. Or the thing is, when you treat women in regards of their vagina infection, when you give them Diflucan, it not only applies to the vagina, it applies to the whole body. And yet, they will go for the topical, treatment of, instead of actually going for the root cause. Because if it's actually something, if it's already in the blood, if the spores are already in the blood and all that, and actually is the reason for the infection of your penis and all that is not actually an outer issue, it's an inside issue because you're broken down the gut or antibiotics or whatever, the fungus is running wild and now seeding its babies in your blood or whatever. then of course it's not a place, creams wouldn't work. If it's inside, if it's a systemic thing, the cream, if you put cream and all that, that might be a good chance that that it will just reinfect, the place. Anyway, treatment of candidiasis is conducted through topical applications for fluconazole, or topical imidazole, oropharyngeal and vulvovagina infections are both treated with local and systemic antimycotics, against fungi. In systemic mycosis, the infectious cause must first be removed. So in systemic mycosis, the infectious cause must first be removed, and then therapy begins with high impact triazole and echinocandin or whatever. But again, I do wonder if you actually have an issue outside and you're treating the is that what they're saying, that you should treat the outside issue before going for the systemic thing? In systemic mycosis, the infectious cause must first be removed. Then therapy begins with high impact triazole and echinocandin. So are they treating the symptom first? Are they treating where if it's actually coming from the gut, because you have what do you call it? If you have the balance of the gut has been broken because of, bad foods and misuse of things, alcohol and all that, and antibiotics and so forward, the other issue, the symptom, in the skin or whatever, the itch and all that might actually help if you fix the gut. If you catch it early enough. If you catch it early enough and you fix it in the gut and you restore the gut to its balance, then the immune system should be able to take care of, hopefully of the rest, But of course, it's not saying that you couldn't do anything in regards to the outside, but just seeing that my issue just by eating meat can really lower the issue in my other head, It's the itch, can really be lowered. Now, of course, I have it all over my body in regards to but at least I can still, keep it down there. That's at least nice. Sadly, it just, it moves around the body and makes havoc. So Cryptococcus neoformans, and again, I hope Diflucan could, if it wasn't because of these stupid doctors, I would already be on it at the moment and trying it out and see if it actually would work. No help at all from these white coat bullshitters, Oh yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And in regards of being nice and all that, I'm done with, this is horrible. It's just what they are doing is killing off a huge amount of people and letting them suffer because of this wicked system, this diabolical system that they're working for. It's just Cryptococcus neoformans is a yeast-like fungus with a polysaccharide capsule. Okay. No idea what we are looking at in regards to this, but anyway, okay. The capsule protects it from phagocytosis through granulocytes and macrophages. Now, macrophages is at least in regards to these, from the, the white blood cells, the immune system, I guess, part of the immune system. The fungus occurs in the ground and can be found especially in pigeon feces. It is transmitted via respiratory droplets. Topically, the fungus will go unnoticed in the immune-competent host. However, in immune-compromised patients, such as AIDS patients, the fungus can undergo hematological spread to the brain. 10% of all AIDS patients will develop Cryptococcus. Now, Do you think that maybe the Candida albicans can also go around? Now, I'm still not totally immunocompromised. I'm still, very much alive and all that. But, absolutely affected by this fungus. But yeah, I think the Candida albicans absolutely can go. It has so many ways of going around in the immune system, and so I think it's totally a missed. What do you call it? And you can just see how it actually can affect. Just look at women. That's very clear. When women get issues because they take antibiotics, and then the fungus runs wild. So they get fungus in the in their place. So that's one of the places where it's pretty visible that there seems to be something going on. So anyway, so patients with cryptococcal meningitis will have symptoms of nausea, headaches, confusion, and cranial nerve deficits. Diagnosing occurs via a lumbar puncture where the CSF, I have no idea what that is, will be stained with the India ink. The polysaccharide capsule will pick up the dye and the diagnosis can be made. Now again, I have one of these games also on the computer that I need to play as well at some point. It's like 12 levels, and it helps you to get more information while you're playing it. You're playing against bacteria and all that, and whatever. I haven't completed it, so but the first 3 levels are free, and it talks about different things in regards of microbiology, and you read a little and then you play, and then you're controlling these macrophages and so forward, and trying to get the situation under control and destroying the bacteria where I'm not sure if there's any fungus infection in the game, but these people seems to be so much focused on bacteria, right? Anyway, but it's the idea is to learn more. So when you get over to understand more what they are writing, because there's a lot of things that it's hard to decipher when you don't know what they are talking about. So the more that you can nail, in some sense, the easier it becomes to decipher what they're saying. So apparently this was the sickness of cryptococcal thing, apparently, which is found in bird poop, which is said to, if you have birds, it might not be you could be at risk at getting this thing that is in the bird poop. I think it was not only the pigeon feces. I think there was some regards of other, if you had what is it called in English? One of these small birds and all that. And I don't know if it's all birds that actually have this issue that you might actually that you might be at risk in regards of this fungus. But anyway, something to look into. If I don't have any birds, so I don't really have that issue. Treatment is a triple combination: amphotericin B, 5-fluorocystosin, and fluconazole. And we have fluconazole, that's Diflucan. The therapy must be conducted over a period of 4 to 8 weeks. Male patients also need a lifelong maintenance therapy because reactivations from the prostate can occur. That's interesting. So a reactivation from the prostate. Do you think that the fungi might actually, hide in the prostate? Since it can actually reactivate from the prostate, could it actually hide down there? As I understand it, but the prostate is in regards to the male. In males at the neck of the okay. So so do you think that maybe the fungi or the babies of the fungi might actually be hiding down there? if you need a lifelong maintenance. Yeah, anyway. Cryptococcus can also cause pneumonia, skin ulcers, and bone lesions. Malassezia furfur or something like that. Malassezia furfur for the pathogen for pityriasis versicolor or tinea versicolor, which is a superficial infection of the skin. Now you just have to wonder sometimes when you have it on the skin, if there is a, if it actually is if there's a reason in regards of coming from the inside, or if it's just an outer issue. Tinea versicolor presents itself clinically through hypopigmentation of the infected area. In rare cases, Malassezia furfur can also determine a catheter-associated sepsis in parenteral feeding with lipid solutions, whatever. The presence of pus-forming bacteria or the toxins in the blood or tissues. That's interesting. I actually, I found a Danish group talking about Candida and all that, and there was a nurse as well. I asked her some questions, but she haven't really responded back to me on those questions. But she herself took Diflucan because of, apparently in regards to the period and all that, having issues. So, yeah. So I'm not entirely sure why it actually would go, why the woman would be more susceptible, why a woman would be more in regards of this time period, so not entirely sure how that works out. What happens in the woman body that actually makes the fungi go wild or react and become an issue? I don't know. If what other reasons that could be. Any case, now of course, if women are taking all these stupidities of, there's a bigger chance of actually getting those issues as well. So if you don't take all these stupidities that actually might, promote it, you might not get an issue, So let's see here. In a parenteral feeding with lipicals, and also in regards of, apparently they're feeding these people this, food through a thing, and I do wonder if there's actually sugar in that. I asked in regards to, do you actually have because if they're feeding these patients which are laying on their deathbed, if they're feeding them sugar, well, that's just feeding the fungus, if they have it's just incredible. Anyway, you could probably save a lot of these people laying there on their deathbed. Some vitamin C intravenously maybe, which is also, I think actually is also antifungal as well. And then, see if you could give them something that is not sugar. I don't know if you can give them give them food, which is not sugary in regards of when they are on that level. But, you could maybe make them function again if you actually gave them like vitamin C or whatever, who knows, to actually get life in them. And if you get them to, begin to function again, then you can feed them food like, meat that is, easily taken up by, by the body. I don't know, maybe even food in regards of, this thing called high meat. I don't know, but that could have, making it, fermented meat might be easier to actually digest for the person. I don't know, but that could, that could be a possibility maybe. I don't know, but as long as we are just going by this wicked system that don't want to see because money, and just kill off a lot of people and all that, it's just incredible. I remember one of the stories of a guy where the medical mafia would have killed this guy at this hospital and all that, and the family forced them to try out vitamin C intravenously, and the guy, survived. So, but yeah, this is a disgusting system that murders people. It's just incredible because they are mistreating people. They are misdiagnosing people and they're mistreating them. It couldn't be much more worse, because this is disgusting. It's an incompetent system that murders people on purpose. That's just it's just incredible. Anyway, I think they could pretty much, they could really, if they wanted, if this system wanted, it could really turn around really quickly and actually use natural means and rescue a lot of people instead of murdering them. They could actually, but yeah, anyway, it's just disgusting. So diagnosis can be made with skin scrapings. Here we go again with the skin scrapings and KOH under a microscope. And again, I'm not entirely sure what that is. I remember that I should, I have known. I don't do. Oh, actually, maybe I have it like here. Do I still have it? Oh, I think I still have it here. Oh, there we go. Let's see. We have the what is called the system of hydrogen and what's the names of these things? Oh, they have the Danish Technical University on one side, and why wouldn't they just have some good information on the? But anyway, let's see here. Isn't there any names on them? There's not even names in this place. It's like the H, the B, the C, the nitrogen, the N, the O, that's oxygen, and F for fluoride, I think, and Ne for. Anyway, I can't remember, natrium, magnesium, whatever, gallium, garium, or something like that. But why isn't there any name on these? I thought there was name on this thing, that we got on that point, but apparently not. That's bad. That's just, why wouldn't they name the things? That doesn't make sense. By Gerd Reichels from the DTU. That doesn't make sense. No information in regards to the names. Oh, give me a break. Well, let's get it back. Oh, do I have another one here? Oh, I have another one. Wow, I have another one. Oh, I didn't know that. Is there names on that? I actually have two. Oh yeah, there we go. I thought, okay, what is this then? I actually have two of these. Why do I have two? That's weird. I don't... Is there some information on one that is not on the other? I can't remember. But apparently I have two. I couldn't remember. It's a long time. It's But let's see here. Yeah, that's the name. That's the one I was looking for. I thought that it would be names, We have... also looks a lot better. That's calcium, and then we have hydrogen, and then we have, calcium and oxygen and hydrogen, I guess. Hydrogen, let's see, nitrogen, oxygen, helium. No, where is the... Can't remember where it is. Hydrogen is up there, of course, is the first one. Yeah, okay. Hydrogen, and then you have oxygen in regards to number 8, apparently. Why is number 8? I thought it was number 6. Number 6 is carbon. Okay. Yeah, okay. Anyway, pretty good. I guess one could fix it on the mobile in nowadays. Oh, there's so much I've forgotten from that time, You fill your head with a lot of things, and I found out that you can only it's like a glass, and when you begin to fill the glass too much, it begins to spill out. So anyway, But of course, it is easier to get into something when you have been in it before, I guess, because then still something laying dormant in you that will maybe pick up on it quicker then. So diagnosis can be made with skin scrapings and KHOH under a microscope. Treatment includes dandruff shampoo applied to the area. Topical antifungals can be used in severe cases. Topical, as in regards on top of it. So, but again, if you only treat something on topical, on the top of and the issue is actually, underneath, I don't know in regards to this sickness, of course, but I guess there's a lot of things they don't know. And if you have something that reoccurs, again and again and again, there might be actually an external cause, It might be, what is it called? I can't even remember what it's called again. Internal, no. Internal, it might be a systemic thing. Internal was a pretty good word, actually. There might be an external issue that comes out on the skin, Here we go in regards of Aspergillus. I've seen that on, where they blow. I think we had a picture of that where I didn't know where it was. I think it was probably, there we go. I think this one might actually be this Aspergillus. It looks like it anyway, as far as, let's see, let's go down here and, no, we did too much. There we go. Apparently this is one of the issues as well, but let's see. Aspergillus, its typical micromorphological characteristics is conidia carriers ending in vesicula. Did you understand anything of that? Its typical micromorphological characteristic is conidia carriers ending in a vesicula. I guess it's something in regards to the vesicula, must be the thing that we saw on top of it. I don't know. This fungus can cause 3 different conditions: allergic, pulmonary aspergillosis (ABPA), aspergilloma, and invasive aspergillosis. Inhalation of aspergillus spores, that's the babies of and of course, if you're inhaling spores, there might be a chance that you're also inhaling mycotoxins from the fungus. Anyway, can cause an allergic reaction and mediate the release of IgE antibodies. This is a type 1 hypersensitivity. In patients with previous episodes of tuberculosis with lung cavitations, inhaling aspergillus spores cause a aspergilloma, which is localized ball of fungus that might have to be surgically removed. Yeah, because we don't know apparently how we could actually, kill it off and all that in natural ways. Let's just, use the knife, right? In immunocompromised patients, an aspergillus infection can decimate, or it can decimate, like metastasize, like in cancer, Is that what we're going by? Is this the direction we go? Cause to become widely known, yeah. Broadcast, circularize, circulate, diffuse, disperse, distribute, pass around, propagate, spread, yeah. And I think Candida can do the same. So infection can disseminate and cause frequent bleeds and a bloody cough, secondary to Aspergillus lung noodles. This disease is very fatal, and treatment is with strong antifungal medication. Yep. Okay. And if you're living, I think Aspergillus is actually a mold, isn't it? It doesn't really say if it's a mold, but I think it's a mold. And I think it can be in buildings, if I remember correctly. So let's just say mold. I think there was some and then we have mildew, maybe, I don't know. Mildew is something else, I think. But anyway, yeah, Aspergillus mold in the home. So what you need to do if you have, mold in your house is to get out of the house. So, and here we go with this, this guy with, and these are, as I understand it, spores. And I could see, they had a video where, and you can see it looks like the thing that we saw. It's pretty much. I saw this animation and where you see all the spores are released. When they, So anyway, so here we have a picture of. There's differences in mildew and mold apparently. It's all fungus, as I understand it, but apparently there's some differences in regard to it. In regard to how it looks, it says one had these spots. Okay, there's apparently some spots there, and the other was more like, in any case, there's some differences with these two. So I'm not entirely sure how it, works out. But here we go with this. There we go. This is the mold. So, and of course, cancer can, move around, right? And fungus can move around. Isn't it funny? That's just a coincidence, right? Antifungals actually working against cancer. And, natural and unnatural. Anyway, so this fungus can cause 3 different conditions. Oh, we already had that. In immunocompromised patients, an Aspergillus infection can disseminate or metastasize. Again, in regards of cancer, metastasize, disseminate, and cause frequent bleeds and a bloody cough secondary to, I guess, I guess that, of course, I have to be careful here, but disseminate and cause frequent bleeds and a bloody cough secondary to Aspergillus lung nodules. This disease is very fatal and treatment is with strong antifungal medications. Well, anyway, in regards of disseminate, maybe I'm getting that wrong, but as I remember in regards of, that's a word that fungus, when fungus move around in the body, well, fungus moves around, can move around the body. Anyway, Aspergillus can also create a toxin called aflatoxin. That's the mycotoxin. That's the fungus poison of it. This toxin grows on grains and peanuts. If ingested in large quantities, this toxin causes liver damage that can lead to liver cancer. Oh, liver cancer. Actually, I think in regards to the grain, I had the Danish website talking about, mycotoxins and all that. I can't remember which fungus that they had issues with, but they said that it could lead to cancer. If you ingested mycotoxins, over time, it could lead to cancer. Oh, really? You can actually get cancer by ingesting fungus poison. And if you're ingesting fungus poison, you might also probably ingest, spores as well. I wouldn't rule that out. So, and so let's see here. I don't know where that would be in regards to the Food Administration of Denmark. Maybe I put it like fødevare. Let's see if I can find anything in regards to that. No, that's before that, but I posted it somewhere. Oh well, whatever. But they talked about, mycotoxins and the issues of mycotoxins in grains and so forward. So, yeah. So, some believe that in regards of having issues in regards of grains, that it's actually not in regards of what people, what is called, what was called in regards of, I can't even remember, but that it might actually be more of a fungal issue. It might be both, who knows. It might be both issues that causes the system to go down. I don't know. Anyway, Mycomycetes. Okay, so let's see. Mycomycetes. Mycomycetes are primitive dermatophytes among which mucorales like rhizopods and mucor are particularly important in human medicine. These ubiquitous fungi are typical possible pathogens or harmful, in neutropenia with vessels affinity. The illness can present itself as cutaneous mycosis, as to say in extensive burns, rhinocerebral mycosis, originates in a colonization of respiratory tract, and paranasal mycosa, spreading into CNS, and can occur especially in diabetic metabolic conditions, ketoacidosis. I don't know. Pulmonary mycosis, especially in leukemic patients, through ingrowth in lung vessels. It can lead to lung infarcts or something like that. Gastrointestinal mycosis. The fungus can grow inside the vessel and lead to intestinal infarct or whatever. These fungi have affinity for the sinuses and cranial bones. These are highly likely to infect diabetics, burn patients, and people to take iron chelators I'm not saying that iron. I think I'm saying that wrong. Let's see. No. It's called chelators. I'm not sure. Anyway, chelator. I can't say it. So now apparently we're going into. So that was Mycomycetes, and then also apparently fungi are making these to protect themselves from the immune system. They can make these sacs of fungi, and I think I pretty much it might actually have been one of these fungus sacs I had underneath my my ribs, which then later on exploded, to the left and to the right, and went up outside my breast and made a U-turn and directly into my breast. And then I got these swollen, I guess it must have been my lymph nodes that swollen up, first on one side and the next day on the other side, and I got these lightning feelings through my breast, and then all the dots came about in my upper breast, and then it went through out through my arms, and I have a lot of dots as well on that now. And after the explosion, everything just became worse, and getting dots, pretty much everywhere. These brown spots. I'm still not sure what these brown spots is. If it's it's damage. Some believe it's damage of something in regards of, if, for example, if you're eating heated oil and all that food that is made with heated oil, there's the oil will oxidate, I think it was called, and some say that it's actually oxidation damage, these spots. But I'm thinking maybe it's actually, maybe it could actually be damage from the mycotoxins, If you have a release and spreading of, my nose. It's just getting filled. If you have a spreading of fungi babies, the fungi, of course, wants the babies to survive. So what do you do when you release the fungi babies to go out in the wide world, the wide world of the body to find other spots to, you would, try to help them, right? How do you help them if you are fungi? Well, you will put out a lot of mycotoxins. So the immune system have a hard time working and actually killing off these babies, right? So that makes total sense. And some of these mycotoxins, which, some of these mycotoxins can, as I understand, is some of the most poisonous to man. Well, I guess they could also go out in the skin and make damage. Now, of course, this is only on the outer surface, so who knows how much, what damage they have done inside of me, But yeah. I was pretty much spot free, but just getting more and more of these spots. That's anyway. And no help inside. Yeah. Oh, no help inside. Just put in the crazy box. And again, it's not only me that is put in the crazy box. A lot of people seems to be, put in the crazy box. So, let's see here. Someone writes, that's because they would go out of business if we followed the diet and cured these diseases. Yeah, of course. Many of these, if you actually told the people how they could keep healthy and actually gave them, actually was focused on good nutrition instead of just, destroying the foods and all that, yeah, there wouldn't be so many people going to the doctors or the white coats. And of course, that's less of money for them. And yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible wicked, That's another one. Of course not. 40 years ago, the doctors threw them at us like candy. Today they can bake them. I'm not sure. This is in regards to when a GI doctor thinks you are crazy when you bring up any of the Dr. Kaufman's information. He's not a doctor. He's not. But anyway, but he. They call him doctor, and I guess, I guess more like a health coach, would probably be a better word, because that would be, yeah, I guess a lot of better word, a health coach of some kind. And it's, that's another word, there's other words that I think would be much more, anyway, he does not believe anything be related to fungus. Yeah, that's the. You can see these people and these women. There's a lot of women on these places that have issues, and the doctors are just rejecting them. And of course, also, it's incredible. It's just, and just instead of listening to the patients. These white coat murderers just, yeah, it's very sad. Anyway, so let's see here. So let's go on with this. Dimorphous fungi. That's the fungi that can, go in yeast and go into a, filamentous fungi. So dimorphous fungi. Dimorphous are fungi that grows as yeast in their parasitic form and as filamentous fungi in the saprophytic form. I'm not totally sure about that because, Candida is on the other way around, isn't it? But I have seen in regards of when the fungi ends up in the body, it turns to and yeast, it seems, in regards to 37 degrees, and if it's outside, it turns to fungi. I can't remember the information totally on that, but that was something in regards of that we are around 37 degrees Celsius, and when the fungi is outside in 20 degrees, it would be, this form, and if it comes on board on us, having 37 degrees, it would change its form. But I think it actually, changed the form from a fungi to a yeast form when it was in us. But the Candida turns from a yeast form to a fungi form. So, but that seems to be related also to the pH in the gut. And of course, if you destroy the good bacteria in the gut that actually keeps the pH on a low level, well, you're just set up for fungi going loose. Anyway, dimorphous fungi. Dimorphous are fungi that grows as yeast in their parasitic form. Okay. Seems to be kind of a opposite of the Candida albicans. Parasitic form, and as filamentous fungi in their saprophytic form. And again, we'll have to look that up, obtaining food osmotically from dissolved organic material of some plants or fungi, feeding on dead or decaying organic matter. So I guess what there must be in regards to these fungi outside the body, breaking down things, and then if they get on board the humans, they turn to its yeast form, which apparently also can be a parasitic form apparently. Anyway, I don't know much. It's not a subject that that's more to research on that. Anyway, as filamentous fungi in the saprophytic form, they are pathogens for the classic system Mycosis. Okay. Dimorphous. I wonder if there's a little difference in regards of the words that we had, dimorphous and the other dimorphous. I thought it was the same in regards to dimorphous. We have yeast. No. Wasn't there something else in regards of dimorphous someplace that we read? I don't know. Maybe. Oh, that was the Candida, right? We read in regards to the Candida being. We have battery problems again. Candidias. Where was it in regards to Candida being actually? We have in regards of balanitis, and I looked at pictures of balanitis as well, and of people, and there's different, differences of how much it's visible, also had the spots down there. And what did the doctor says? Oh, everybody have those. Okay. And usually, mostly if I have been in a hot bath, and comes out, that's they're usually more visible. Anyway, but again, the diet has a lot to do with how much you can actually, I guess, suppress the fungus. And again, eating meat. Seems to be a very good suppressor. It's not curing it, but it's at least not making things worse if you just keep to. And I wish I would just have kept to the meat and not done stupid and went down to the baker. I should really, that's just the most stupid thing that I could ever do, because I was just feeding the fungus, and I should have known better. And that's just another nail in the coffin that this is fungus. So anyway, of course, when you talk to the doctors, they just look you as like glassy eyes. They pretty much just they're not there to help you. Incredible how this is. It's a wicked system. It's just so wicked. I can't even find this in regards of Candida albicans. In regards of being yeast, does it say anything in regards of being no, I can't find it at the moment anyway. So let's go back to okay, here we go. Dimorphous. I don't know if there was differences in regards to the word on dimorphous. I think it was the same words, but the dimorphous version of Candida albicans actually goes, it becomes from a yeast form and becomes a fungi. That's when it becomes dangerous. The yeast form itself is, of course, it can destroy. The yeast form seems to be able to make a lot of issues for the white blood cells, where it can pretty much becomes the yeast form the fungal form inside the white blood cells. So it can make a havoc on so many levels to our system. It's really a fierce nightmare to have. Histoplasm capsulatum. This fungus lives in dry, hot climates and is confined to endemic areas of South America, US, and Africa. Its spores are spread through bird and bat feces, contaminated dust. Since Histoplasma capsulatum is highly contagious, it is classified in risk group 3. After inhalation, microconidea are phagocytized and multiply themselves in alveolar macrophages. This leads to systems of histoplasmosis. So it sounds like this fungi actually are phagocytes. It's eaten, as I understand it, and multiply themselves in alveolar macrophages. It seems like it's as far as I can understand here, that it gets eaten up by the macrophages and then it multiplies. But I might get that wrong. But phagocytized, I think, is eaten, and macrophages are themselves in alveolar. I'm not entirely sure what air sac of the lung. Okay, so the lungs of the macrophages. This leads to systems of histoplasmosis. This illness often progresses subclinically, but it can also turn into acute pneumonia. In immunosuppressed patients, there is a danger of hematogenous. I have no idea how to say that, and no, many of the words is not in that. Anyway, hematogenous metastasis in lymph nodes, liver, spleen, and bone marrow. Yeah. Well, in X-rays, histoplasmic granulomas appear as nodules. They are also called blizzard or cloudburst. Breeding takes relatively long, and since histoplasma can grow again in the breeding ground as filamentous fungus, there is a high risk of infection for the lab personnel. Serologic antigenic evidence is more suitable. Blastomyces dermatitis. Blastomyces dermatitis is the pathogen, it's not, something that is harmful for North American blastomycosis. The infection takes place through inhalation or transcutaneously through skin wounds, tuberculosis-like symptoms, and spreading in bones and skin with formation of fistulas can occur. I guess these are the fistulas on the picture. Anyway, I'm not entirely sure. Let's just have a go. Chronic inflammation of the withers of a horse and abnormal passage leading from a subsuperating cavity to the body surface, caused to ribbon. Suppurate, caused to ribbon and discharge pus. Okay, yeah. That seems to be the things that is on this guy. And spreading in bones and skin with formation of fistulas can occur. The developing granulomatous nodules ulcerate and heal with central scar. Without therapy, the lethality of blastomycosis is high. Amphotericin B is indicated for treatment. And amphotericin B is the thing that you cannot take orally. I don't think it's taken orally anyway. They use it directly in the blood. That's the treatment. So Pneumocystis girovisi. I have no idea. Pneumocystis is a peculiar fungus because unlike other fungal cells, its cells do not possess ecosterol. That was the word, ecosterol. The thing is, does Candida actually, that would be an interesting question, does the Candida yeast form have ecosterol in it? Because if it doesn't have ecosterol in it, the antifungals would not work against, the yeast form. So, which of course would probably just make the fungus even easier to come back if that's the case, if the spore survives after using antifungals, if the yeast form also survives it, well, if you then get it down with Diflucan or Nystatin and all that, if you get it down, well, stopping these things would then quickly make it grow back, or could make it grow back pretty quickly if you haven't fixed the other issues, as far as I can see. Anyway, in any case, just trying to learn, just trying to, I guess if I ever overcome this, I will probably, I will then have more control over, what is, I don't know. I don't know if I ever will succeed, I might just end in the grave, but I'm not dead yet, so getting so many other issues as well. So, yeah, it's just incredible. One issue takes another, right? It can always become worse. That's you hope for the better, but it tends to go down the drain, You have something and you're thinking, oh, it cannot become worse. Oh, no, yeah, I found out that absolutely it can. It can always go downhill. But anyway, Pneumocystis yerovisi. Pneumocystis is a peculiar fungus because unlike other fungal cells, its cells do not possess ecosterol. And again, I do wonder if there's. It would be interesting to just figure out if Candida albicans yeast, Candida. Now, of course, one have to be careful in regards of albicans, and there's so much bullshit on the internet on these things. And I might make errors as well. I'm just trying the best that I can do to try to figure out these things. And because if we can actually if more people figure out what is actually wrong and how we can fix these issues, well, the more people, the more people spreading it will hopefully be able to help other people that is in, and actually also not get to the point of actually getting it as well. That regards of good food sources and all that, where you don't wait for the issue to get at hand. You what do you call it? I can't remember the word. Instead of waiting to go to the doctor that can pretty much kill you, if you're trained in actually, what is it called? If you're actually trained in keeping your health good, that's the thing. I'm missing the word here. Sorry. But there's a word for it. Like if you can keep yourself in good health, that's a good word for it, which I can't remember. So yeast form. Oh, here we go. Candida albicans can cause fungal diseases in immunocompromised patients, including cancer patients. Well, and all that. Yeah. But does the yeast form? Let's see here. Candida albicans yeast. Candida albicans mutations in ergosterol biosynthetic. I don't know. I guess it must. I guess I have to ask on some of the forums, and maybe if at some point I'll see if I can write to the expert in Denmark here and see if she wants to reply to me, or maybe some of the others that have something in regards of fungus. See here, Candida albicans, how do you get it? Testing and treatment. Candida albicans is a yeast, a type of fungi with a predominantly unicellular. Yeah, but the question is there ecosterol in the yeast form? Yeah, I don't know. Still form hypha and attached to, yeah. But whatever the case, it would be nice to just wipe it out, at least just the fungus form, It would give me, it would give a breath. And it would be awesome to see if the Diflucan would actually work to just totally annihilate those things in the eyes, because I know Diflucan works in the eyes. They work in the hot tub of the eyes, which, apparently is a pretty good place for fungi, apparently. They're getting fed, they are, they have it pretty heated down in there and so forward. So it would be very interesting if I took Diflucan and just look and see if I could see a difference, but because it should be pretty quickly, I guess, it seems Diflucan seems to work pretty quickly against these buggers, these critters. So the question, of course, is how to get it. I have found some websites on the internet, but again, where you can order Diflucan and Sporanox and all that. Interesting, you couldn't actually, there wasn't any nystatin on the webpage. But the problem is, ordering something from the internet seems a little, you would like to have a safe source, right? That you can actually trust. But what can you do if the doctors don't want to prescribe anything to you, and the only thing that you can do to get it in, is that route, yeah, that's pretty much, yeah, that's kind of sad. But I heard something that in Sweden that you could actually have gotten it some years back. Apparently, that seems like you could actually buy it directly on the. So hopefully I could maybe find, maybe in Norway, or I have to check that. If they have it without prescription. It's just insane that you need to go so far that no one wants to, help you on these levels. That they're just no. They want you on, on all other things, they want to fix all these stupidities into you, but, don't treat the cause. Don't treat the cause. Oh, well, let's see here. Let's go on here. So where did we go? So again, that's another question, I guess, that I need to nail and see if I can figure out and all that. And the problem, of course, is all the bullshit that is also on the internet, and you need to, try to figure out what is true and what is not true and all that. It's also interesting when you see articles, right? And that seems to be all, one article says something, another article says something else and all that. And you have to figure out what is true and what is not true. I guess Satan has made a huge smokescreen of making it a lot harder for us to actually figure out what is wrong and what we can do about it and so forward. And of course, he's probably enjoying it, making us suffer. Because of our stupid choices in life, and actually not only that, but having the foods destroyed as well, making us sick and miserable, and making the quality of life a pretty downhill trip. So anyway, let's see here. Where did we go to? I'm not sure. Pneumonia. So we had the yep. And we're it's closing for the battery and the mobile. So it probably actually maybe should just, if I can just get a little battery for the last bit. Let's see if we have a little one here. There we go. Yep. Okay, at least we're connected, but of course it could lock down anyway. Yeah. Let's hope we can just take the last part here. So, Pneumocystis yerovisi. Pneumocystis is a peculiar fungus because, unlike other fungal cells, its cells do not possess egosterol. I do wonder, did we actually we didn't have it in this program, did we? No. Oh, yeah, we had.
Agosterol.
Agosterol, that's agosterol, sorry. ergosterol. So ergosterol is, so it doesn't have this ergosterol, so that's a problem if you, in regards of antifungals, which actually, attach to ergosterol. So possess ergosterol for the cytoplasmic membrane. Because of this, it is resistant to antifungals. Because again, antifungals usually, kills, Pneumocystis pneumonia is an endogenous reinfection in a weakened immune system. About 2/3 of the population go through unapparent infections as long as 3 years, during which the pathogen stays in their lungs as saprophyte. In up to 80% of AIDS patients, an infection occurs. So I guess one of the reasons why an infection also would occur if your immune system is down, well, it makes sense that if your immune system is down, you are more likely to get more of the baddies because the immune system is in big problem, big trouble, So if your immune system is really, really low, you would expect to get more and more issues. And and of course the opposite, if you can actually keep your immune system healthy and strong, you shouldn't get, you should have had a good chance of actually being, keeping healthy, and anyway, pneumocytes can be detected directly in cyst. Cyst is that cancer we're talking about? Yeah. Let's see. A closed sac that develops abnormally in some body structure, pathology, a small anatomically normal sac or bladder-like structure, especially one containing fluid. That's, I guess, a cyst.